just blasted immediately.
It's okay. Okay, let me get the thing. Um, so if everybody is ready, this will be the
Well, let me get my
beginning.
spare character sheet.
let, me, let me pull up the backup. Okay. Okay.
Carson's volume louder than everyone else.
Okay, Rime of the Frostmaiden, Chapter 1, 10 Towns, Part 1, Cold Open. Isolation is the word that comes to your mind. A word to describe the cruel howling of the blizzard outside that creeps in through the cracked walls of the abandoned hunting cabin, carrying along with it the cutting chill of desolation. The small interior of the cabin flickers with the dull light of an even smaller fire, a bastion of warmth and light against the small interior of the cabin, a small bastion of light against the darkness of the world outside. Barely kept alive from the gales of blowing wind through the long neglected outpost, we see 4 figures closely huddled around the waning flames, gladly taking in even the faintest of warmth given off by the hastily created fire. It's been only a few hours since your small caravan of a couple dozen was massacred, and you can hardly believe that you made it out alive. 4 lone survivors. You on your way back from home on a long journey down south, one of you heading into the wrong place at the wrong time, and one of you, Oh no. Okay, 2 of you on your way back home from a long journey down south, one of you heading north past the spine of the world mountains on business, and another hunting in the nearby woods, finding yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. But all of you now huddle around the small fire, licking your wounds and seeking shelter from the harsh blizzard raging outside, and the beast that lurks within it. So, if anybody would like to go first, you can start to describe what your character might look like sitting around this fire.
I guess I'll go first. Fenris is leaning slightly away from the light of the flame, and the shadows seem to cling to him a bit tighter than everyone else. He is faceless. His hood is up, and he wears a long cloak over his black scale mail. And he has a long sword at his hip in a leather scabbard.
Yes, very
Oh,
nice.
he's also he's 6'3". He's tall.
Big guy.
Yeah. Big guy. Oh, wait, sorry.
No,
You opened up the wrong character sheet. That's my bad.
No.
Okay. No. Let's not all just cut in front of each other. Archie sits neither nor close nor too far to the fire. Her all black attire absorbing the heat relatively well, standing out against the snow. She wears a hood, and the fire illuminates her pale face and circle rim glasses quite nicely. She wears a scarf to cover her neck and mouth when it gets too cold. And bears a short cowl as well that covers no more than maybe her shoulders in length. However, her eyes are not set on the fire, but on her notebook and her other notes that she carries with her.
Very nice, very cool.
Guess I'll go next. Noro's sitting a little bit closer to the fire than everybody else. He has his hands over it, and he has one of his hands over it, and in his other hand, he seems to be sort of palming something over in his one of his gloves are off, and he's palming it over directly on his hand. It's a little hard to see, but you can just faintly see from the glint of the fire illuminating it a necklace chain that goes into his palm, though it's sort of hard to see what he is. His face is sort of wistful, as if he's kind of thinking back to something, as his eyes kind of dash between his palm and to the fire, a little bit back and forth. But after a little bit, he seems to just sort of sit down and kind of put his head into his arms to just kind of try and, calm down from whatever just happened.
Yes.
Okay. Gwen is precisely 6 feet and is wearing chainmail armor, which is mostly obscured by the thick hooded cloak she has on. She has snow white hair, which is styled in a jellyfish haircut, which I'll send a picture of.
Yes.
4 braids have been made out of the back part, and 2 of them are draped over her shoulders and rest against her chest. Her gray skin is nearly as pale as her hair and shimmers slightly with moisture. She has bluish gray eyes, and a mask covers the lower half of her face. And she's standing beside Archie, watching the rest of the party and their surroundings carefully. Oh, and she has 2 tentacles coming from her back.
Ah, yes.
Can't forget that one.
Oh shoot, I don't think I ever did I. Well, you guys know the art. I don't think I described Nora, but that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have art.
Big
Yeah.
coat.
Yeah, we have art.
Um,
Oh, yeah, what is it? Archie also has like a short bob cut of like darker brown hair and is 5'6".
yes,
If that's important for anyone.
Okay.
Nora's the small, short guy by the fire.
Yeah.
He's the little guy.
So, thinking back to the cart that you were just on, you were almost to the one of the largest towns of 10 towns, Bryn Shander. That's where the 2 brothers that were leading this caravan were leading you to. But unfortunately, when it was almost in sight, a harsh blizzard started coming in as you're passing down the mountains, and something attacked your cart. Something very, very big. If you guys would like, you may roll a nature check to see if you were able to recall what it was during the chaos of the fight.
So this is like a
D20.
Hell yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be rolling a
Kinda
d20.
won.
No!
Is
No clue.
that is
for that
a
one.
17.
17,
21.
Sheesh.
21.
That's a 15.
I'm gonna put it in roll.
Okay, so everybody except
Actually,
Gwen
it's
was able to identify this creature as something native to Icewind Dale, a yeti. Not necessarily a typical monster. You weren't quite able to make it out during the harsh snow, and it kind of tearing through the couple dozen other people on the caravan, but it stood in maybe somewhere between 8-10 feet tall, beet red skin covered in like thick white fur and 2 large dark horns coming out the top of its head. You guys were able to run away from the battle, sort of meeting up with each other in the nearby tundra, and were lucky enough to stumble upon this abandoned, what seems to be a hunting cabin out in the tundra, outside of Bryn Shander. But unfortunately,
I'm going to assume Fenris has not introduced himself, by the way.
Sure. Yeah, at this point
all the chaos.
it was pretty just like, hey, like we're in a survival situation, like let's get fucking somewhere safe and then we'll figure it out. But
I mean, that's fair.
yeah. So now you all find yourself in the middle of this the main room in this cabin. You've built a small fire in the stone pit in the center of the room. And you can see to the south side of the room is the main door that you came in, the only door in the entire cabin, alongside a window with the shutters closed. Most of the walls of this cabin are just made from plank wood, sort of decayed over time. There are holes and cracks. You can feel the wind coming through. It's not very comfortable, but it's better than being completely out in the snow. To your west, you will see a pretty dilapidated bookshelf with only a couple books scattered about through it. You'll see to your north is a thick rug on the ground atop with a long table that has 2 seemingly kind of torn apart bags on it, and above it is a mounted reindeer head. I think they're also called caribou. You'll see that mounted onto the wall, as well as another window. Next to it, planks from the other table from the room that you guys hastily tore apart in order to make the fire, but there's just a few more planks left over from it. And then the wall to your east, you'll see 2 doors. One of them, the one on the left, is cracked open, and there is a pretty harsh, cold wind coming in from it, and the other one is just closed. for the most part, that's your surroundings. If you'd like to, you can take the next time. You've only been here a few minutes, so you haven't been here too long. You can take the time to continue to rest, or you can, maybe check out the surroundings in the cabin. Maybe even keep watch outside in case the monster, decides to show up.
I would very much like to do that.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm just thinking.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say I would
a bit of business
watching.
that.
Wait, hold on.
Can I?
Could you describe the surroundings to me again?
Yeah, sure. So you have a door. You have bottom of the room is a door. To your left, there's a dilapidated kind of bookshelf. There's a couple chairs sitting next to it. To your north, you'll see a thick rug on the ground. There's a table. Then there's a mounted reindeer head on the wall. Next to it, some planks and nails from the leftover from the table that you tore apart to make the fire. And then on the other side of the room are two doors. One of them's cracked open and one of them's closed.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I?
Are there
roll
windows?
Yeah,
Sorry.
there are a few windows. There's a window at the bottom side of the room, kind of near the front door, and then there's one nearby the table at the north side of the room.
Sick.
What did I say?
Can I go? Can I go investigate the bookshelf and see if there's any
sure
anything cooler than like a Dr. Seuss book?
Yeah.
With, like information.
Yeah, so if you head by the bookshelf, you'll notice there's a few books there. Most of them are pretty completely torn apart by age. Not much can be discerned from them other than just a few torn out pages and some kind of decayed paper. But a couple of them do still, at least the contents of them are still relatively readable. One of them one of them from the front you can tell is a book on the wildlife around here in Icewind Dale, and the other one has a title that you can barely make out but isn't quite readable. If you would like, you can make a You can make a perception check to try to decipher what the title of the book once was.
Sure.
In the
18.
meantime, I would like to rip out some floorboards and start stacking them onto the fire.
Sure.
Is Naro and Gwen are like next to me, right?
Nora's the closest to the fire, yeah.
Yet he's as scared of fire.
I believe so.
Probably a good idea to make a lot of it.
Do you need some assistance?
If you can gather some unimportant looking boards.
I will do my best. Nora sort of sits up and he looks at his spear for a short moment, thinking like, wait, should I pull up the boards with my spear? No, that's stupid. He like shakes his head and then just goes at it with his arms.
Do we like roll a strength check for that, or can we just?
It's a pretty dilapidated building. I say it wouldn't be beyond pretty much anybody's capability to kind of tear this place apart. So yeah, you begin to tear out the floorboards below your feet. Most of them are pretty short, so it doesn't take too much effort, and you're able to stack them up on top of the fire, or even next to the fire, just to have extra to throw on. Yeah, very nice.
I imagine Nora, he's not like ripping them out of the ground. He's more just kind of using his knife to kind of pull the nails out.
I can see that.
Them.
Okay.
You didn't know it. Oh, sorry. So go on with that.
No, you can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you didn't know anyone on that caravan, did you?
Not exactly. Not anybody from my village.
All the better then.
Unfortunate, but not something that can be avoided around this area.
Fenris just shrugs. Such is the way of things.
You'll see in the meantime, Archie over by the bookshelf, you picked up one of the two books that were laying there, the one with the kind of more smudged away title. And as upon further inspection, you see the title of the book is called The Crystal Shard. You can roll a history check to see if you can if you happen to know what this book is, as the contents of it are almost completely faded.
Oh, the
Sure.
crystal key.
The crystal key.
19. Dude, what the hell?
19.
my
Very
God.
nice.
God,
From
I
what
gotta
you
go
from what you
casino
know
later, man.
from what you know the local legends of Icewind Dale, this book is kind of a book describing the life of a famous hero, Drizzt Do'Urden, who about 140 years ago saved Icewind Dale from a terrible lich. You don't know the exact details of the story, but you figure that's what this book is, kind of the life story of this man.
OMG, Tristan. OMG.
It's him.
Oh my OMG, huge fan.
Yeah. There's also that other book.
Can I
Uh-huh.
can I do a sort of once around both the room and the outside?
Sure.
Just looking through the windows.
Yeah. Inside the room, for the most part, it seems secure. There aren't any lingering monsters under the floorboards that these other two have figured out. But outside, you see it is pretty much pitch black. It's hard to see much except from the faint light from the flickering fire kind of outside the windows. In the sky, you'll notice a very glimmering kind of aurora. One that doesn't look natural. From what you're aware, those aren't here. We are far north, but we're not far north enough for an aurora. When you were on the caravan, you heard speak from the other people who were either native to 10 Towns or even from the two the McReady brothers, the two people who are leading this caravan. That recently, the Frostmaiden Auril, a god who is domain over the winter, recently, from mostly speculation from different 10-towners, casts a spell that made it so during the day the sun never rose. And supposedly, according to them, during the night this aurora is created by her flying over the dale on her rock, casting the spell. Supposedly that's what the aurora is from. From most of the
You said
speculation
Auril?
from other
Interesting.
people. Yeah, Auril. Auril. Flying on her rock, which is just a fantasy word for basically a big bird. It's just a type of really big bird.
Oh, okay.
It's the
Okay, I was
SpongeBob,
thinking,
like that kind of rock.
not a boulder.
It's a rock.
Yeah,
I
I was
felt
thinking.
such-
I was
Yeah.
thinking of the SpongeBob boulder.
I
Yeah,
was
no, me
thinking
too.
of this Frostmaiden just riding a really big rock.
yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
a massive boulder over the sky.
Yeah, it's a.
Is it spelled that? I think it's spelled like that.
Oh, ROC. Yeah, I
like
knew it was
ROC.
one
Yeah,
of the
ROC.
things. There you go.
So they were a kind of mythological bird that were apparently so big that they could pick up elephants.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's
Oh.
a
God dang.
yeah. But otherwise, outside you won't see many trees. You are pretty much in the middle of the tundra, but the blizzard is raging pretty hard outside. Luckily, the two windows in this room are mostly intact. There isn't too much coming from it, but the surrounding boards, anyways, are pretty open. So tough.
How big is the fire right now?
I would say decently sized, especially since you guys threw some more planks on it. There's a little bit of a breeze coming through, so it sort of it sways from side to side a bit, but it's certainly enough to keep you warm.
Let's see.
Keep stacking wood. I'm going to take a look by the window.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'd like to take a peek out the window
All right.
with my elf eyes.
With my elf eyes.
My elf eyes.
Would you like to check out the front window or the back window? There's kind of two of them in this room.
I'll probably go to both, but I'll go to the back window first.
Sure. Out the back window. Oh, I'm sorry. Which window did you look out, MJ? I completely forgot to ask.
I was
Unless
just going
MJ's
for a
looking
general,
at one of
like,
them.
just like all of them. I don't know.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So, but for both of you, I kind of didn't describe this before, but for both of you, out the back window, mostly that it's almost completely pitch black outside. There's not much. And then out the front window,
I have dark vision.
It's when I say
Same.
darkness, you can still see in the dark. It's just pretty obscured by the blizzard. I think you can only see like 10
It's
or
just
15
like,
feet out. You can
Okay.
see
I
10 or
imagine it's
10 or
like
15.
a lot of snow you could see, but
Yeah, I was about to say like you'd see snow pretty much. There's not really anything going on out there besides just the field of the tundra. And then out the front window, same thing, but relatively near this cabin, you see a outhouse over on the left as you're looking out this front window. But besides that, nothing in particular catches your eye except a lot of snow.
Could
Wow.
I shut the door that's slightly open?
Sure. Yeah.
Conserve the heat.
Yeah. As you
There's nothing. He like walks away from the window and into the center of the room and just says, "Well, there's nothing out there, but I don't think I'd be able to see anything if there was."
that means most likely I won't see anything either. Damn.
as you as Gwen approaches this door that's cracked open, as you get closer, you can definitely feel there's a strong breeze coming from the room. If you would like to shut that for the fire.
Wait, sorry. Is that a door to the outside or to another room?
So there's the door that you came in, which is the only entrance to the house, and then there are two other doors, which supposedly lead to two other rooms in the house, in the cabin.
Okay, never mind. I'm not going to shut that door.
Peeky. Okay.
The door to outside.
Yeah.
No, there's
No,
so
there's
there's
a-
yeah.
Is there
the door
anything
that's
else on that
probably
bookshelf?
On that bookshelf is another book. There's one that from its title you can tell it's a book on local fauna.
I'd like to just like
Wildlife.
pocket that for now and just
Damn, I was
drag the
gonna do that.
bookcase over to the
No, it's fine.
and drag the bookcase over to the front door, like the door to outside.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Make
I can help with that.
Cool. Make a strength check with advantage because you're getting helped.
That is, what's my fucking strength right now? That is a 14.
Archie steps out of the way as they drag the bookshelf and just kind of exclaims, "You know, if you're going to do that, we might as well tear down the entire cabin and just burn down the entire tundra while we're here."
Do you know a way to do that?
Well, most of it's made of wood, and you seem to be throwing
No, I meant the
everything else.
tundra part.
Oh, I see. Of course. Well,
See, that would be useful.
wouldn't it?
Noro sort of like braces himself on his spear and kind of lifts himself up, kind of walks towards sort of everybody's focused towards like the back side of the cabin, right? Or are they like trying to move the bookshelf?
Yeah, I would say that. So
Gwen
so
and I
right
are
now,
moving the bookshelf.
yeah, Gwen and Fenris
Okay.
are moving the bookshelf. Yeah.
Archie's
So I'm
watching.
gonna have Noro kind of move towards one of the front windows and kind of stare intently out into the snow, just sort of trying to see if he can find anything out there.
As you stare out into the snow, you don't see anything specifically. Mostly the blizzard raging outside is obscuring your vision anyways, maybe like 10 or 15 feet out. But it's mostly dark, and you catch through the snow faint glimmers of the aurora in the sky above you. Right now it's about, I'd say, like 10 p.m. From what you can tell.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, did you guys make the rolls? Sorry, I wasn't checking the channel.
14.
14. Cool.
Oh fuck yeah! I need to put things in the roll channel. You're right. Sorry.
No worries. You don't even need to write down if you want. You can just say it out loud. I just kind of forget. But
Yeah, just the like prosperity though.
yeah. Okay, so as you're dragging the bookshelf over, there's a few of the other completely aged with time books kind of fall out as you're dragging it, scraping against the ground. You're able to push it up against the door, not without it falling apart a little bit. It's not a super stable thing, but it's enough to cover the door.
It'll make a noise.
Yeah, certainly.
Hmm.
Lovely.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
There are two
I
other
would
rooms
like
in here, aren't there?
to- Yeah. There's the one that's open over there. There's a draft coming from it.
Well, that's ominous. Fenris, like immediately without saying anything else, puts his hand on the hilt of his sword and starts walking towards it.
Interesting. Or both of you are going to check it out, right?
Yeah, I'll also draw my rapier and shield.
Okay, cool.
As
cool.
Fenris walks by, I'd like to think Noro kind of tries to catch a glance of his sword that he kind of puts his hand over, trying to see if he like recognizes the model, because something about it kind of seems a little bit.
I would say
It is wrapped. Oh well, I mean, if you want to like see any details on like the scabbard, and the
I
hilt
think
or
it's totally
something.
fine for you to describe it. Go ahead.
It is wrapped in. The scabbard is wrapped in the leather of what appears to be many different animals, and the hilt is. Okay, wait. So I should have cropped the fucking hilt. It's a black, like Y-guarded sword with a red, like a dark reddish wood on the hilt. The pommel is like it's a sharp point essentially.
Yes. Oh yes.
Is it kind of bulbous like a diamond, or does the handle of the hilt
It's like
kind of taper out?
Kind of it kind of has a flare out just so like for the comfort of the hand, but it goes longer into a point.
Okay.
Like longer than a normal sword's point, if you understand the kind of model.
Yeah.
I think I get what you mean. Yeah. Noro just kind of blinks for a moment, kind of noting the make of the sword before kind of getting up and following behind them.
I would
just,
say
in case they need some
also make a perception check real quick.
perception check. Okay.
All of
let's
us?
Just Noro.
see.
Gotcha.
Perception is wisdom.
Wisdom.
Okay. Gotcha. That is
Unless you have proficiency with it as a half elf, I don't know.
That's 22.
22, lovely. As you watch him kind of walk past, you can swear you almost see the sword shift in its own scabbard. You almost see it jump up a tiny bit as he holds on to it as he walks towards the room. Anyways,
Fenris's thumb like glides over the sword as that happens.
yeah, lovely. Okay, so as you guys enter the room, as you open the door, you'll instantly notice this room is significantly colder than the main room in the cabin, especially lit by the fire. But the window in the back of this room, kind of straight ahead of you, has been destroyed. It's already been broken for a long time, and there's lots of snowdrift in this room, especially with the harsh wind coming in.
I would like to immediately make an investigation check on that window. Not necessarily going close to it, but like.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
That is 9 plus. What's my fucking thing? Investigation. That is a 13.
Okay, lovely. Let me see. Okay, so from what you can tell, this mostly just from the amount of snowdrift in this room, this window has been broken for a long time. It used to have a glass pane, but for the most part, that's mostly gone now. It's just kind of an open wood hole in the wall. Nothing else particularly stands out, except that the most of the snow is piled up underneath the window, and then the rest covering the other contents in the room.
Can I tell if like it was broken down by something or just?
Your best guess is that it
wear and
was. Your best guess is just that it was just wear and tear over time. It's definitely been a while since it's been broken, but you can't quite decipher if it was necessarily broken by something or just by the age of this house.
Well,
Are we all able to like
that's troubling.
like take a look at the window at all?
Yeah, if you'd like to. I would say also let me just to go over what they see in the room. You'll see a large on the larger side bed, which is the main piece of this room, also covered by snow, with pretty raggedy blankets and pillows. Next to it will be a kind of an end table next to the bed with an unlit candle on top. You will see a dresser at the foot of the bed. And then the rest of the bedroom is, just covered in snow.
Imagine Noro kind of walks behind Fenris and kind of moves over to the window and says, "Do you see anything up there? Anything about it that seems a little bit off?"
I think the cabin's just broken down after age.
Noro takes a little bit of a closer look at it.
Sure.
I'm
You can roll a investigation check on it.
Gotcha. What are you about to say? Sorry, I said.
Oh no, I just said still troubling.
May I take a look inside the dresser?
Sure thing. Wait, let five. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't. You don't
Noro
notice anything in particular about it. Seems just like a open window.
Nora just shrugs and goes on to look at other stuff in the room.
Okay, Gwen, as you peek inside of the dresser, or wait, which one are you looking at? Sorry.
Yeah, the dresser at the end of the bed.
All right. Okay, so at the end of the bed, the dresser has kind of two main drawers, but in the contents of either of them is you would see kind of a pair of seemingly kind of normal clothes, maybe a vest, a small coat, some kind of raggedy pants, stuff that for the most part seems to be mostly wearable, but nothing too special. And the other one is two pairs of a lot hardier clothing, winter clothing, the type of clothes that can protect you from the harsh cold of this environment. For the most part, you all have when you ran away from the caravan, you weren't able to take much with you besides the clothes on your back and the bag that you kind of already had on. So you each only have one pair of quote unquote winter clothes. But there are extras in here. Two pairs. You will also find two sets of snowshoes, which will help you walk on snow. It's kind of like the big flat. How do I describe them? Sorry.
I assume I can't.
Brackets. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
tennis
elf walk on the snow.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, they're the big fucking tennis racket things that you strap onto your feet. So there's two sets of those, and then also at the bottom, you see something kind of made of metal, and as you take a look at it, they're called crampons. They're basically kind of the spiky metal bits that you put that you kind of like strap to the bottom of your shoe, and it lets you walk on ice a bit better.
Ooh.
How many of those? Two?
Sorry, yeah. So there's two sets of snowshoes,
Two
sets of snowshoes, and one set of crampons.
Gotcha. Okay.
What would you say Archie is doing meanwhile?
Archie was definitely hanging back in like the main room, just kind of watching everyone standing more by the fire.
Keeping warm.
I think she'd like to, go investigate, because you mentioned there was like two torn up sacks on like the table,
Yeah.
right? That was in that room. I would like to go investigate those.
Sure. So on the north side of the room, there's a long table underneath that caribou head mounted on the wall. There are two backpacks that, once again, most of the things in this house seem to be pretty torn apart by time. That they're two bags. They're still usable, but one of them, one of the strap is kind of torn off. The other one has kind of a big gouge through the main bag. But if you were to check inside of them, you won't find much useful. You'll find, and one of them is a set of caribou antlers, still a little bit fuzzy, but kind of rounded at the end for each point on the horns. And then the other one, you find a couple candles. You find, let's see, you'll find kind of a spare jacket. Nothing too thick, but just kind of a coat. But nothing else too much useful in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Shame.
Yeah.
I'd like to take both pairs of the winter clothing and snowshoes.
Sure.
Not necessarily trying to hide the fact that I'm taking them, but
Sure. Survival
Not
situation,
saying anything
understandable.
either.
You know, grabbing some shit.
Yeah, Fenris doesn't say anything about it.
but I will mention that there is one set of crampons in there for whoever wants them.
I'm rather desperate.
Norris says, I'll take whatever I can get. He just sort of leans down and kind of picks up the crampons, slips them into like 2 pockets on his jacket.
This is a good time to mention, because I kind of forgot it a little bit. You know, as you're packing stuff into your backpack, you'll kind of, with a little bit of a wince, realize that, you know, in the chaos of the kind of just trying to get out of there alive, you were pretty much only able to grab what you had on you. I would like you all to set your rations to the number that you rolled with the D4.
Oh
But
no!
you can decide whatever food that
I
was.
Like to think, like Noro like puts his hands into his pockets and he kind of pats himself for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's just like, shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
You can
That
you can decide whatever food that is. Maybe it's some jerky. Maybe it's some like different types of like dried fruit and vegetables. Maybe even some sweets. You know. But unfortunately, that is the amount of food that you happen to have on you.
Fenris checks his
Cool.
pouch and sees a strange silver apple and some like dried meat.
Lovely.
Oh, unfortunately.
Noro has like a sort of like 2 wrapped up steam buns,
Yippee.
but that's about it.
I love steamed buns.
Pardon me.
Steamed hands.
They're no longer steamed anymore though. They're very
He
cold.
does have a hefty pouch of some unknown, possibly herb-like material, though. It's fucking overflowing. He's set on that.
It's a lot.
Thank Gore.
An aurora
He
entirely localized.
looks
in
at
Icewind
that
Dale.
pouch. He looks at that pouch, and like you don't hear a sigh, but you see his shoulders like sag very slightly.
He's just like, oh, thank God, it's all still here.
It's not all terrible.
Like I imagine Noro just kind of like wraps his food up and kind of like stuffs it into his bag, and he just sort of kind of he runs his hand across his forehead, you know, just kind of scrunching it. He's
Thank
like,
God.
Well, no, he didn't. He saw like Fenris. He saw Fenris do the thing. He doesn't know why he is relaxing like that. He's just more kind of pissed off that he lost like all of the food that he grabbed for this evening.
Yeah, you were just out hunting before you heard some commotion nearby off a road. Maybe you already snagged something. Maybe you didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, I imagine he managed to finally like find some food over the past couple weeks. Specifically but you know, the fact that he lost them after he went to go investigate the carriage, he's just like, damn, I should have stayed.
Yeah, definitely. You more than anybody know that in the past 2 years that the Dale has been covered in darkness. It's been a lot less animals running about. Most of them are dying off. So it's been harder hunting recently. Yeah.
Well, I say we block the door to this room so we don't have an unnecessary weak point.
Oh, sorry. I'll also say the end table. I realized I didn't describe it super well. But there's kind of a small side table next to the bed. That has a drawer on it as well as a unlit candle sitting atop it.
A lit candle?
An unlit candle. Sorry.
Okay. So a nightstand.
Noro-
Okay.
Yeah, nightstand. There you go.
Noro kind of like underneath his kind of slips something from his sleeve, pulls out a small tinderbox and kind of strikes it, and puts the match to the candle to see if like he can get a better look at, you know, the table.
Okay. As you kind of go next to it, you'll see that it is a mostly made of spruce wood. The little handle on it, you know, a tiny little diamond shape, maybe made out of copper or tin or something similar. On top of it is one of those. It's kind of a tall, slender candle. On top of one of those like Ebenezer Scrooge like little like tins, like a little like flat plate with a little handle on it, you know. Probably used as maybe a reading light or maybe something to just look around the house if the past resident here was, you know, walking around at nighttime or in any time in the past 2 years, basically.
Okay. Noro tests the drawer to see if he can open it.
Sure. You're able to pull it out pretty easily. Inside the drawer, you will see a hunting knife, pretty similar to something you'd call like a Bowie knife, you know, just like a pretty meaty knife. And next to it is a small leather journal.
Noro pulls out the knife and kind of like you could his expression doesn't change, but I imagine if like somebody were next to him, they could see like the edges of his mouth kind of grin a little bit, and he just kind of slips it into his pocket and he grabs the
handle
and kind of opens it up.
The handle of the knife is mostly made out of a caribou antler. At the end of it is a kind of like a carved little face of a caribou. One of the horns, it seems like it has broken off either with time, maybe the previous like wielder kind of bumped it into something pretty harsh, but you know, it's pretty crudely done, but you know, you can tell what it's supposed to be at least.
It's a good quality.
Surprised someone would leave that behind.
Yeah.
It's good quality. We should keep this on us.
Nice thick old knife.
Wonder what happened to its owner. He looks at the window.
he looks at the window. Noro just kind of like silently nods, kind of flips it around in his hand. He's just like, I wonder what. And he moves.
I don't think that window broke down itself.
As you
makes you say that.
Sorry.
Joins them in the room.
You said Nora was checking out the journal. Sorry, I kind of got distracted with describing the knife. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, no, you're good.
It's a small journal.
Sorry, Ryan.
At least in comparison to most of the other books, it's pretty well held together, just because it's been, you know, tucked away in this small drawer. It's a little ratty, but on the inside, most of it seemed to be daily logs from this person. You can tell that they're from the front of the journal. Their name was Kadon Fernwoods. They seem to be a hunter from what they're describing, kind of just in their day-to-day as you flip through it. Seems like they mostly hunted caribou around the local tundra, but you can tell that more and more of some of the more recent entries, which date back to about a year ago, describe how a lot of the caribou patterns were going awry. There weren't as many as there used to be in previous years, and you mostly see them, you know, saying expletives about it just being nighttime all the time and how fucking cold it's been, that sort of thing. But one of the entries, one of the last entries you notice in the book kind of sticks out to you. You'll see it kind of described as follows. Finally tracked that thing back to where it lives. Some small cave off the Red Run. I quietly followed in after it with my bow in hand, ready to finally end all this, but it was gone. The tracks went cold, but there was only one entrance to the cave. The only thing in there was an old leather satchel with nothing in it. I ended up bringing it back home with me, but the thing gave me the creeps. I ended up throwing it out in the shithouse. Last thing I need is another break-in from that deer anyways. I will,
I'd like to just like gesture for Archie to kind of come a little bit closer so she can hear and say, what does it say?
Something about a hunter of sorts. Obviously, as we can see, he hunts caribou. And towards the end of here, he seems to have found a cave of sorts, tracked a deer there, and found an old leather satchel. I think he might have dropped it somewhere outside of the shed. I don't see it around here.
I sent it into the...
There was an outhouse.
Does
outside.
the journal mention anything else? Any other extra details?
For the most...
Also, as Archie approaches, sorry,
no worries.
I'd like to hand her the clothes, the extra set of clothes and snowshoes, just real quick.
Thank you, Gwen.
Of course.
As for that specific entry, there are certain parts of the book that are kind of, you know, some of the paper is torn, maybe a little decrepit, but that's pretty much in that last entry. That's all that's written. Most of the other entries are just kind of describing this guy's day-to-day life, going around the tundra, just kind of hunting different things, kind of complaining mostly about his day-to-day. This guy doesn't seem very happy. From what you could tell, he was living out here alone. He had family in Bryn Shander, but would spend most of his time outside the town here hunting and then going back selling pelts, eating what he can.
Noro kind of closes the book and he's just like, tale as old as time.
Yeah. That entry, that last entry was about a year ago.
I assume Archie like heard or read like the last bit about the deer and just kind of tenses up a little bit.
It did say anything about a deer.
At the end, at the beginning, it was talking about they tracked something back to a cave. He found a...
Yeah, but like, what he's implying is that he said something, not a deer.
Yeah. At the end, he
said-
mentions a deer, but yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
last night.
It was like a, just like a, oh, isn't this strange? Something isn't right.
Why would a deer
What's
break into
rhetorical?
someone's house?
Why would a deer?
Imagine- Yeah, why would it? Yeah, Noro kind of like looks over at Fenris, points to the window, and he says, looks like your hunch was correct.
Well, there's one more room, isn't there?
There certainly is.
Fenris, who's still gripping his sword, grips it a little bit tighter. Well, let's go see.
Let's go, Scooby Gang.
All right. As the
Be sure to knock first. We can at least be polite in someone else's home.
No, I don't think that we should do that.
already torn apart one of their like tables in their living room, starting a fire.
Noro
Yeah, like set fire to the bookshelf.
Noro kind of like looks around at the sort of way they've made their way through the cabin and like the broken in windows, and he says, I feel like we're a little bit past that by now.
A little bit. All right. As you, I suppose all four of you kind of together now are making your way out this room, kind of back into the living room, seeing the fire still flickering, and enter the other room. As you, it doesn't matter particularly, but is there anybody who would like to go in first?
I'd also go in first.
Sure. As you open the door, with the one hand that isn't already on the hilt, you'll smell kind of a thick, kind of musky sort of smell.
He pauses literally immediately and like holds up his hand. And like points in there.
I imagine Noro tries to move a little bit closer, get a whiff to try and see what the smell is.
That's a fucking animal.
Make a perception check, Noro.
Gotcha.
I mean, I assume I'm also gonna make a perception check.
Yeah, either of you can make it, or both, yeah.
That is a 14 plus... What's my fuck? That is an 18.
Okay.
That's a 13.
Lovely. Both of you, whether just from the past or, at any point, can kind of recognize the smell as kind of very, very faint old rotting meat.
Oh, lovely.
Nora's just like, in any other circumstance, I'd be glad to have a carcass nearby, but I believe this is more of concern than anything.
Fenris draws... sorry, go on first.
Oh, I was gonna ask if I could try to decipher what animal it was. Maybe by
I would say...
I don't think we've opened
if there is much left
we've
to
like just
the
barely
animal.
cracked open the door. I haven't opened it fully.
Okay.
Fenris
In a moment.
steps back for a second and draws his sword, and the screech of metal that it emits rings through the entire house. And as it does, it immediately sends chills down all of your spines. And you immediately get the sense that something is deeply wrong.
That's a fun sword. Funny sword.
Funny sword. I imagine Noro, who at this point, since they were approaching the room, probably ready to spear, kind of grips it a little bit tighter.
Sure.
As soon as he, just kind of readies himself a little bit as Fenris pulls his sword out.
Are we going
Same
in
here.
loud or stealthily?
I think silence is a little arbitrary at this point, and Archie at this point is like shifted behind Gwen, like a notebook in
Yeah.
one hand, dagger in the other.
Fenris immediately bursts through the door and like lurches to the left side so that the doorway is open for anyone else to enter in,
Sure. As you
and readies his sword.
as you jump into this room, fervorously, as you kind of take a step left to the door, your hip bumps into a table. As you come into this room, it's almost completely pitch black, or not. No, sorry. It is dark in the room, but you're all able to see well in it. There aren't any windows. But on that table to your left, you kind of immediately see sort of like a skeleton of a caribou, one that's been sitting here for quite a long time. Maybe some scraps of fur left on it, but pretty already chopped up, but mostly without any meat on it. There's nothing else inside the room besides a ice box at the end of the room. You'll see a kind of a medium-sized trunk on the floor to your right that has a lock on it, and then a kind of big storage crate as well next to it. On the table to your left, there's also a big fat butcher knife kind of like chopped into the table partways.
Fenris sheathes his sword again and says, "He was in the middle of butchering an animal. Something certainly got to him."
How quaint. Nora kind of moves into the room, kind of like takes a look over the caribou to see if the blood is fresh on the table.
I was hoping to cut something's head off.
On the table, you do see some, old blood stains. You can pretty much tell that this is kind of a butcher's table. Maybe brought the carcasses back in here to cut and skin, and etc. But none of it's fresh. Most of it's very, very old.
It's been here a while.
A year, I'd imagine.
Just like the entry. Should be safe. He kind of like says that back to Gwen and Archie as he moves in.
I'll put away the
Fenris,
rapier shield.
Fenris like runs his finger along the hilt of his sword and mutters something to it.
Strange at all.
Well, I suppose just mutters something.
There you go.
An odd one that one is.
I don't
Quite
trust him.
peculiar.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to describe. So the door that you entered is kind of on like it's on kind of in the corner of this room. Immediately to the left of you, you would have bumped into a stove, kind of just a wood stove. And then on to the left of that is the kind of big long table that goes across the entire wall. On the stove is kind of a pan with some pretty old kind of rotting like fat and grease kind of congealed at the bottom of the pan.
Ugh.
Do I have like any bottles on me at all? Like empty bottles, or is there any sort of empty bottles inside the room?
There are no bottles immediately that you can see. Unless something also was described in your character sheet, I don't believe you would have one on you. But there's at least none kind of just, laying about this room. But in in the main room, you do remember seeing on the kind of long table with the two bags, there was kind of an empty mug and a plate and fork sitting along there.
I imagine Noro kind of eyes the table and then kind of moves back into the old room to grab the old mug.
Sure.
Come back in.
It occurs to me that whatever broke in here took him, but didn't take the animal. That's not very predatory behavior.
Especially with the blizzard outside going on for the past couple of months. If it was an animal, then most certainly it would have eaten everything in here, including him.
I wonder what he found in that cave.
Or whatever found him, rather.
Mhm.
Nora kind of like as he says
The
this, he's
hunter
kind of,
became the
screaming.
hunted.
He said it. He said the thing. I'm sorry.
He said
you
the
know it.
thing.
What were you saying, John?
Nora he kind of scrapes a bit of like the excess fat into the mug,
Mm-hmm.
just as a sort of like potential fire starter for any future
Sure.
stuff in case he like runs out of
Reasonable.
tinderbox. Slips it into his bag.
Yeah, yeah. A very pungent smell comes from it, but yeah, you can slide that back into your bag.
Noros spelled worse.
Yeah, fair. Also sitting in the room at the back of the room is kind of a small ice box, and then to your right is that trunk and a kind of a bigger kind of wooden crate.
Can
You said there
anyone
was
lockpick here? Oh,
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Well, if you said there was a lock on it, right, Carson?
Yeah. Upon closer inspection, it's a pretty old and rusted latch. Same with the lock that adorns it. It's relatively small, but it keeps it just from being pulled open. But it's also quite rusted.
Can I try to kick the lock
Yeah.
to break it?
Sure thing. Let me just double check something real quick. Where the fuck did I put that? Okay, yeah, yeah, you can go ahead and try to kick it. Make a flat strength check.
12.
Lovely. So you kind of you pull your your foot up and crack down at it with your heel. It seems to dent the latch a bit, but not enough to fully break it off.
Need a hand?
Well, if you'd be so kind, I wouldn't mind the assistance.
Sure. Go ahead and make a strength check if you'd like to also take a crack at it.
roll a one, roll a one.
No.
Twist his ankle.
That is a 14.
Lovely.
Damn it.
This rusted latch that kind of halfway broke off with just another swift kick does completely crack off and chatter against the ground.
He lifts like the lid of the trunk with the scabbard of his sword.
Lovely.
Or with his sword still in its scabbard.
Sure. On the inside of this wooden trunk, you'll see it's kind of shelved a little bit. There isn't too much inside of it, but from what you can find, you find a compass, you find a compass inside, just kind of a small dinky thing, but supposedly still works. You find a small, tiny little glass ball with little snowflakes painted onto it. On the top of it is capped with a little kind of very small tin piece and a little hook at the end of it. And then also you find a small wooden box, maybe about like a foot long, few inches deep and tall. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry, run it by me quick again.
You find a
so that I'm sure.
You find a compass. There's a small glass ball adorned with a little kind of like tin top and a little hook on it that's painted with little snowflakes. And then you also find a smaller wooden box.
He'll pick up the wooden box and like turn it over in his hand for a
Sure.
sec.
As you look on the outside of the.
Pass me the compass, won't you?
Sure. On the outside of the wooden box, you'll see it's mostly made of, from what you can tell, spruce. Seems to be the most common type of tree out here. You see little engravings of waves kind of all around the box with kind of sporadically like little like sea monsters maybe below the water, or like a boat. On the top of it, you see some kind of like clouds and thunder sort of engraved into it. But otherwise, a relatively simple box on the outside.
After gesturing to the compass so that like Archie knows that they're free to take it, he pops the box open.
Sure. As you pop the box open, you see that the contents of it are empty. There aren't really any other engravings on the inside except at the bottom of the box. You see in quotations 2 words. You see the word ahoy engraved inside of it and avast engraved right below it.
Nice.
Just a box. A sailor's box? Interesting.
Anything about that? Manhunt caribou.
This fawn.
Wait, we're all getting away from something. He does not seem to be getting away from anything.
I imagine Noro walks over to the. You said there was a storage box.
Yeah, there is kind of a large crate in the room.
And
I'd
an
like to
ice
see if he-
box.
Yeah.
And an ice box. I'd like maybe Nora test the box, the storage box to see
Sure.
if we can open it.
Sure. Yeah. The lid comes off pretty easily. It's kind of a big, like almost plywood crate. As you open it up, on the inside, you will find a longbow, as well as a quiver with 13 arrows inside. And at the bottom of the box is kind of sort of just like a pile of different sort of bones. Nothing. Seemingly just kind of scattered on the inside of the box, as well as a couple sets of caribou antlers.
MJ, you have
Oh.
a ranged weapon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I took a longbow as my ranged weapon, but I'm just going to treat this as a longbow that I find.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
What did you find?
He's like, Nora just kind of gestures into the box. It's like the aforementioned arrow he used. Wait, no, the aforementioned bow and arrow he used, along with a couple of bones.
Fenris sort of like pauses and like feels around on his like chest and back for a second and walks over to the chest and says, "Seems like I lost my bow. How convenient."
Nora
As you,
just kind of gestures into the box. He's like, go ahead. I don't know how to use the bow.
That's surprising.
Based thing for a hunter to say.
Hunter does not know how to use a bow.
So to keep it traditional, eh? He like makes a poking gesture.
Nora just kind of smiles a little bit. He says, you could say that. Stands up.
Oh, I did say that.
I did. As you
Indeed, I did say that.
as you pick up the bow, you can tell the kind of wrap for the handle around the bow is made of made of what you can only assume is kind of leather from a caribou, tanned by whoever was living here. On the bows, several dozen little etches into the side of the bow. As well at the end is a pretty crudely but sort of cute like little engraving of a caribou head at the tip of it. But otherwise, just a pretty standard longbow.
Oh, it's adorable. Yeah, slings it over his shoulder.
Yeah. Is there
With Fenris this close, I think definitely from what happened earlier, Noro just kind of takes a little bit of a closer look at the sword.
Sure.
Maybe Arcana or perception check
Let
it
me
again?
see.
I don't know if
Yeah, I
you
would
want to describe
say-
anything about it or if I should, Carson.
I would say so John, you can make either a perception or an arcana check, I think.
Well, he already made a perception check, so I'll do an
Sure.
arcana check.
Sure, if you're trying to figure out if this thing is like kind of like a special sword especially from the the noise it made earlier, you can tell it's something's interesting about it.
That's a 5.
Okay.
No.
You wouldn't necessarily glean anything that you didn't pick up from earlier from it making noise. You can tell there's certainly something special about this sword, especially with the way this guy's carrying it around, and that noise and kind of feeling you got from it, but you're not exactly sure anything more.
Noro just kind of makes the mental note. He's just like, guess it's just a sword.
I guess it's just a normal
Could I actually
sword.
make a
been
check
like
as
that.
well?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Okay.
Sorry, it was perception?
You can make a perception or an arcana check.
Cool.
Need to lay off the scuba.
Oh, 21.
Guess it was just the wind.
21. All right. Yeah, Seb, if you would like to describe what they would see, maybe like along the blade, I can't imagine that they would be able to glean exactly the nature of this sword, but maybe a little bit more about it.
Are you perception checking, or are you like checking the blade?
Yeah, perception.
He resheathed the blade, unless you just mean the sword itself. I mean, I'll give you something for it anyways. It doesn't matter.
Well, if it was like
You
an Arcana
see
check,
curling around his hand and sort of leaking and smoking from the scabbard these faint wisps of almost liquid-looking shadow.
God, he's so edgy. I
Just
love it.
I
It's amazing.
can I
Actually, I fucking
Arcana
love it.
check? Can I Arcana check the sword as well for
Go for it.
We're all just like,
I'll just intently
Looking at
looking at
him.
this guy's sword.
What the hell is this sword?
I mean, fair enough
19.
reaction. 19?
guys.
I imagine I
Um,
just get the same stuff that MJ.
Oh no, I'll
when-
give you something different. As you focus in and you notice these swirling, shadowy shapes, you can almost make out faint like faces, and you can hear very slightly something like a whisper or like a breeze.
Okay, Archie. Then Archie's gonna make a little bit of distance between herself and Fenris and go inspect the ice box.
Lovely. Just so I know, did Fenris end up taking that little wooden box with like the words engraved on it, or inside of it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
A buckled.
Sweet. Okay. All right. As a
Ahoy.
Avast.
Ahoy!
ahoy and a vast.
That's the name of chapter 1.
Ahoy. And a vast.
Ahoy.
Avast.
Or Avast.
Yeah.
As okay, yeah, okay. So as Archie will like kind of approach a small ice box, something used to try to keep meat from spoiling. Certainly not anything as nice as a refrigerator, but the closest you're gonna get. As you kind of peel open the top of the box with a little bit of like a stick to it, your nose is met with truly just like that smell you were smelling earlier. You can definitely tell was coming from whatever the fuck is inside this box. Just a thick, pungent smell of rot.
Oh, it's not the corpse on the table. It's from the icebox.
There was some meat left in here that's been rotting for a long time. Kept not quite fully rotten by just the cold, but it's pungent.
Like even I imagine this.
Oh, lovely. Sorry.
No, you're good. I imagine even Noro just kind of like holds a hand over his nose for a second. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, then Archie quickly just shuts the icebox closed.
Yeah. Even with the icebox closed, the smell just kind of lingers pretty strongly in the room.
Did we not see what was making that smell?
You can take a peek at it if you'd like.
You can open the icebox again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, morbid curiosity. I do have morbidly curious in my character personality.
There you go. If you were to crack it open and look at it, you just see just a putrid, like half liquid, congealed, like what you can only imagine was meat at one point, but is now certainly something a lot more foul. Just pungent, rotten mold, and just kind of a big slop of it sitting at the bottom of this box.
Is it?
Meat question mark.
Yeah.
Well,
you can make a if you'd like, you can
floated
make a investigation check if you want to like discern if you can tell what it is exactly.
21.
21. Yeah, you just from context, you can imagine that it was where this guy stored his meat, but is just with age, it's just turned into rot. Nothing special, but certainly nothing you want to be sitting here smelling.
I was expecting someone's head, to be honest.
The DM telling us we can do an investigation check, and
I only said just because
no useful information.
I imagined he was expecting it to be, I guess, I don't know, something different, so I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask to roll anyways,
Sure,
just to
yeah.
like see if there was like a fucking like human like hand floating around in there.
Yeah.
Like the guy's head.
Of the guy,
Yeah.
Part of my learning arc right now is when and when not to like ask for a check for something. I kind of getting there, getting used to it.
That's fine. No, you're doing great, man.
Yippee.
Yeah.
Nora looks down into the icebox and he's just sort of like, I'm not sure if I'm disappointed or relieved that there's the head in there.
Well, whatever broke in here dragged him out. And I doubt it's returned since.
That
Hopefully.
journal.
That's a neat hypothesis. Why don't you back it up with a sword?
The switch side made it
Alright.
fucked up.
Well, I don't know if anyone wants to do anything else. I don't know if we have anything else left to do, but maybe try and long rest.
I would
There
say
was the outhouse,
that is true.
but it's like blizzarding like insane outside.
Yeah, let's not go into the blizzard at night.
We check it later
Sure.
Mhm.
for the mysterious leather satchel that like may or may not have cursed this guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we see if the storm subsides over the night.
So throughout this time, you guys have been investigating the other two rooms. You'll see the the light, pretty much the only light source. That campfire in the middle of that room has died down a little bit, but not too much that you can't continue to rekindle it throughout the night.
I did ask Naro to stack wood and stuff next to it. as well,
Yeah.
For extra fuel.
Yeah, there was also some extra from the table that you originally tore apart. So from combination of ripping up the floor, you got some enough to last you through the night at the very least.
We only had to burn down a quarter of the cabin.
we were just ripping out some nearby floorboards. We weren't like
Yeah,
fucking
we were
tearing
ripping
shit
out.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah, we weren't tearing apart the walls. That's what's keeping the cold out.
there you go. Yeah. Okay, let me. Oh wow, I completely forgot a thing. Sorry, I wrote down a note and then forgot about it. When Nora was checking that big crate, you will find as well inside of the crate. Where's my funny guy? Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's tough. You will find at the bottom of the chest kind of a small little pouch, which inside you will find some old jerky. It's a little tough, a little stale, pretty frozen from just the cold, but it's enough that equals to one ration.
Nora just kind of picks it up and he's like, well, it's better than nothing.
Caribou jerky, pretty good. Okay. Yeah.
Nora kind of sniffs it. Is it? He like sniffs it to see if it's like fresh.
It's certainly old, but it's still good. Combination of it being frozen solid and also just being jerky. It's definitely still edible. It's nutritious, but maybe not the most delicious thing in the world, but it's food.
I imagine Nora just kind of like sets it like using like one of the pots nearby, so he doesn't have to like set it on the floor. He kind of like puts the jerky in it to kind of like and like walks over to the fire to kind of melt off the frost from it.
I don't need much rest, so I'll take second watch.
I'll take first.
Okay, lovely.
Nora says, "Fine by me." He kind of like sets his spear down and just kind of like curls up into a small ball in that big jacket of his.
As Fenris leans against the wall to meditate, he places the sword on his lap with his hand on the hilt.
Lovely. Okay. You said...
Are we only taking 2 watches?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think...
Yeah, Archie will just say, wake me whenever and I'll serve my time.
Lovely. Okay.
Understood.
Who was taking first watch again? Sorry.
Me.
Lovely.
When?
Okay. Time to figure out how I want to do this, or how I like how to do this.
Perception check.
You want to do this?
Yeah, I think. But let me.
Gwen, roll initiative.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rocks fall and everybody dies.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
The cabin burns down in the night.
you're deciding to stay in for the blizzard outside instead of trekking through it. Your first watch is pretty uneventful, just the kind of gray noise out there, white noise outside from the snow. You don't see anything particular, and after a few hours, you decide to turn in and wake up whoever was next for the second watch.
Me.
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely.
Do I roll perception?
No. Let me.
Okay.
Wait.
I probably wouldn't be able to sleep for a bit because I do not trust this guy.
Sure. Fair enough.
Just lying there for like an hour.
Keep an eye on this dark shadowy figure.
How many hours pass on this first watch?
Let's say maybe like 2.5 to 3, somewhere around there, I think.
Okay.
Um,
After 3 hours, he sort of like very minutely jolts,
sure.
as if he's sort of like coming back to awareness. But he doesn't say anything.
The blizzard continues to rage on as you spend most of the time still on watch. You don't notice anything in particular going on, and then you can continue to wake up whoever was on duty for third watch.
Archie.
Rise and
I
grind.
don't. What was Archie had a mask, right?
No. Archie does well. Not with her currently.
Okay. I don't know a defining feature to give as a nickname, as Fenris does not know this person's name.
Glasses. I don't know. 4 eyes.
Fine. Yeah.
4 eyes.
Well, regardless, he says something and it wakes her up. It's uneventfully, he sort of just like nudges her leg until she awakens and kind of tips his head to her and then nods back off.
Rise and grind.
And yeah, Archie gets up with like no resistance or anything, and then assumes her post.
Sure. All right. All right. As you're keeping an eye outside, over the span of the next few hours, you'll see the blizzard slowly starts to die down, and eventually by the end, the sky's clear. There's no longer blizzard, still quite cold, but you can see the sky as around the time when the sun would generally be rising, but you'll notice that it slowly becomes dawn. There's some faint dim light outside spread across. You'll see everything is kind of illuminated a dark blue just from the dawn, but the sun never rises. Are
we all kind of awakening, or is Archie just awake at this point?
At this point you'll all start
to
to
like a fourth watch.
you'll all start to rise. But
as Fenris is looking at the kind of lighting outside, he just like taps his sword and says, "Reminds me of home."
sounds about right. Cool.
I imagine Noro just kind of looking at the sky. He kind of like has a bit of a sad expression on his face. Probably remembers, before it was actually, dark.
Eternal
all the
night.
time. Before it was
Yeah.
eternal night. He just kind of shakes his head a little bit, starts packing his stuff up.
Sorry, did you say that the blizzard has died down at all, or no?
The blizzard has ceased over the night. It died down, and now sky's clear.
Sick.
Let's go. And of course, I'll like convey that to everyone. Like,
Yeah.
hey, the blizzard's died down.
Rise and grind, gamers. What would you like to do?
Outhouse time?
Where was I'd like to take out my map that I have. And I'd like to.
I forget details on a thing because I've committed most of the stuff to memory and I have a lot of stuff written down.
I'm
but it's
looking
not
at
super,
the map in the server right now.
Sure.
Where are we?
So that's all. So okay.
Around.
So I'm very sorry, but there was supposed to be a map in that room with the butcher table. On it, it was a smaller map than the ones that you guys carry on you. But it's more detailed.
Thought that.
Huh.
Oh.
This
I
is
was
this
gonna
is
say, I
something I
thought
forgot
that.
to mention.
I still have the map that I
Yeah,
bought.
yeah.
Though,
You
right?
guys have a big map
Yeah.
of Icewind Dale. Through when the blizzard was raging and when you guys were attacked, you were a little bit disoriented. You knew you were generally on the road going to Bryn Shander, and you knew that you were close. But as you guys kind of ran off into the woods, you sort of got disoriented a little bit.
Bryn Shander. Okay, so we.
But on that map that was in the butcher table, or in the room with the butcher table, it was a map that was annotated supposedly by the hunter who had it. Lots of it were of on the map you would see marked the cabin that you are currently in, as well as Bryn Shander kind of on the top right corner of the map. But most
I
of it,
would see the cabin.
Yeah, on that map is marked the cabin, the one on the wall.
Is it by the trail?
So you guys are kind of like off the left, a few miles off the trail.
Off
By the Red Run?
10 trail or Red Run?
But a 10.
The journal did mention Red Run.
You guys are a few miles west of the 10 trail. Just the 10 trail. Near Bryn Shander.
In those cups of like woods, not in the plains.
No, you guys are in the plains. Let me mark down.
Okay.
So here, sorry, let me get a.
I mean, it makes sense if we don't know our exact location. I'm just like he is trying to actively work out more or less where they would be.
Yeah. So here, let me get this thing.
If I had to estimate, I'd say we're somewhere between the Red Run and 10 Trail.
Here I have an exact thing. Sorry, it's taking me a second to get this info here. In-game info.
You're fine, dude.
That little diamond is about where you're at.
Okay.
Right, but
okay.
the detail I was supposed to mention earlier when you guys were in the room with the butcher table, there is a map on the wall. It's a much smaller map. It's about that size that you see on there. It's listed with the what used to be local kind of migration patterns and different things from blinks one at a time of different caribou. Different caribou. At the bottom is mentioned is a kind of a small. Sorry, where the fuck did I write this down?
Well, okay. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, if I had to guess, we're about an equal distance from Bryn Shander and he pauses for a second. Dugan's Hold.
Hold on, wait. Let me look at the main map.
To the
Yeah,
east
do it.
and northeast. He like shows them the map, like he puts it down.
That big map on the wall, you would all kind of be aware of the location of the cabin that you all would have seen on the on that map mounted on the wall.
I imagine
I certainly have to agree with you.
I was just like, man, we're way off the trail we started with.
Oh yeah, okay. So
Could be
on
worse.
that map at the bottom is a
Too
little
far.
note written from this Kadan character, saying mentioning don't forget to bring the torch in case the big sneaky bastard decides to come and say hello. Kind of on this map,
Well-
assuming that was his like hunting map.
Yet he's as scared of fire. I think we know our culprit.
Does the map have a cave on it?
No cave is marked down on that map.
Okay.
Cave was down by the Red Run, so it might be marked there. He probably didn't think to mark exactly where the cave was.
Right.
The
I
map
forgot.
that
It was
the map that he would have mounted on that wall isn't big enough to like where the red run isn't on that map that he had on the wall.
Yeah.
You guys would know where it is just on your maps,
Gotcha.
but yeah.
I imagine Nara would.
Yeah,
very
yeah,
least.
pretty much any of you.
Yeah.
Nero's definitely familiar with the surroundings of Icewind Dale. Yeah.
He looks up at them for a second, and while you can't see his face, you can almost feel him raising an eyebrow at you. Or do you want to go to the cave?
Oh, Nora wouldn't know
neat.
the exact location of the specific cave. Like he would know where the red run is.
Oh
and
yeah,
maybe
I know,
the
but
night
like they were kind of suggesting it was what they were just saying.
Sure.
No, it's just like, probably not. Though I feel we should inspect that. We should inspect that outhouse before we try anything rash like that.
If we get to one of the towns, maybe someone will offer us a reward. It seems like it's stirring up quite a ruckus.
I imagine that visiting Bryn Shander would be a good idea first. Get some supplies, as it seems, at least for myself, I'm short some of the rations I initially brought with me. It'd be a good idea not to get caught out in the middle of this wasteland with no food to eat.
I don't fancy starving to death, that's true.
We've been starving for a while now.
What?
Huh?
Oh, you mean
town.
just like the people? Oh.
the
Oh,
people-
you mean...
A while before this, I was, well, it was the caravan. Was it a caravan that we arrived on?
Yeah, there was kind of a trail of 3 or 4 carts that were being led by those two brothers that the other members were on. You were nearby, just hunting, and then heard the commotion, came by, wrong time, wrong place, wrong time, kind of got caught up in all of it.
Seems I came in at the wrong place, wrong time. I was hunting nearby. I ended up finding some food, but I needed to investigate to make sure there wasn't anybody caught out in the snow. That was pretty much the only wolves I'd seen, or any sort of animal, for the past 3 months.
A land where there's no prey to hunt. How depressing.
Indeed. Unfortunately, that food is wasted now, unless if anything managed to find it when I left.
Probably the Yeti picking through the caravan's corpses.
Nora just kind of slips his spear over the shoulder and kind of walks towards the door. He's like, "Well, there's no point in staying in this cabin and freezing to death. Might as well move on."
Yep.
Yeah, Archie will follow.
Yep.
Yeah, what he said. What he said.
Let's venture forth then.
Time to visit the toilet.
Oh, and by the way,
Oh yeah.
he gives a very not a very shallow bow, but sort of just a minorly courteous one. My name is Fenris.
I imagine Nora gives him like a look over, and he's like, "Oh, I believe we didn't introduce ourselves. I am Nora."
He holds out his hand.
Nora takes it. He isn't exactly super distrusting. He sees Fenris is clearly somebody who has useful skills.
His right hand is freezing cold. Not in a way that would make you think that he was trying to harm you or anything, but it is weirdly cold.
Dr. Archie Mornstein, and I'll go to shake either of their hands or both of their hands.
He'll shake her hand with his right hand.
And I am Guinevere Pierce.
He offers his hands to Gwen as well.
Will hesitantly take it.
I like this little business meeting with you guys shaking hands and holding your briefcases. This is great.
Yeah, handing out business cards.
OMG, they're holding hands.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Call me, we'll get lunch sometime.
Well, now the proper introductions are out of the way, let's get the fuck out of here.
That front
Said
door
it better
is
myself.
that front door is still covered with the bookshelf. If
I
somebody
want to
wanted
fucking I Eldritch blast it.
I blast the door.
I cast fireball.
Do I need to roll for damage or roll the hit? Like what?
actually blasting it. I'd say this pretty already rickety wooden bookshelf, addled with time, under the blast will pretty readily kind of fall apart.
Okay, well it is it is 13 damage.
Cool, lovely.
Jesus.
You'd like to describe what the blast looks like?
You see a how do I describe this? Almost like a whiplash of shadowy tendrils, like so fast it almost just looks like a rush of black wind.
I love that.
It's
Holy.
so cool.
Lovely.
Well, you
No,
should.
Does
Kinda
this
like
does this
holds-
just come from your hands? Like, what's your?
Yeah, he just like sort of lazily holds up his hand like up, like not even pointing it at it really, other than his palm facing towards it.
Lovely. Yeah. So with
That's rad.
with a loud crack, this bookshelf like kind of splits in two almost and falls to the side. With
And
the
I'd also just like to add that the wood splinters that fall away begin like decaying,
They kinda
like
like-
rotting to nothing.
they kind of like curl up, like you can imagine a match that's been set on fire, like as the fire like crawls down the wooden part of the match, how it sort of like curls and bends, like most of these wood chips and bits of it
Yeah.
end up doing that. Lovely.
No, I
Lovely.
imagine Noro's just like in his head. He's like, okay, so maybe it's not just a sword.
Wait a minute.
You certainly have a bit of flair to you, don't you?
He bowed again. I try and make myself as flashy as possible.
Well, as you guys head outside, you'll feel the cold bite of the winds outside. Still kind of perpetually dawn. As you're outside, the snow is cleared. Off in the distance, you might be able to make out the faint kind of lump of Bryn Shander. It's a town located on the top of a relatively large hill. You can see it from quite a distance away, but you can tell you are quite a distance away still. Would be several hours travel to get there. You also notice the outhouse.
I just
out to your
wanted
left.
to say, if any of us know fire spells, it's fine, but otherwise, Fenris does take a torch with him. He has a few torches in his pack.
I think most of you guys should
lights
have
it on that.
torches.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have like 10 torches on me.
Lovely.
Same.
Yeah.
Best keep one of these lit at all times.
Yeah.
Probably
That's
best.
good.
I love playing a
Also-
character that actually like thinks forward.
Yeah.
Sick.
Okay.
Noro kind of like sort of moves out into the snow to try and like look around for the aforementioned outhouse.
Sure. Yeah. You'd see it out to your left. Relatively small. Pretty much only one person can fit inside at a time. It's been pretty beaten by the gales and winds and sort of like slanted a little bit, but it's got kind of the classic, little like moon shape cut out in the front door.
The Shrek outhouse.
It really is the Shrek outhouse. Yeah.
What an
An
ogre
ogre
fucking
bursts
kicks it
out.
open.
Yeah.
Initiative.
No.
Well, this is the part where the dragon comes out, isn't it?
All Star starts playing.
He does say that in character out loud.
Noro kind of has like he's like a short chuckle as he kind of like makes his way through the snow over to the outhouse.
Cool.
Try to open it up.
Cool. As you open the door, you kind of sigh a little bit because this is the second time today you open something and smell something pretty bad. It's kind of got the
Naturally.
gross sort of just shit smell. You'll see inside of it is the kind of seat peering down into the darkness, supposedly where this foul stank's coming from. But on the right side of the wall, you see a kind of a nail tacked into the wall with a leather satchel being hung from it.
Noro kind of gives it a once over before he grabs it. So I'm
Sure.
gonna roll
As you
perception or investigation.
I would say investigation. Yeah.
Gotcha. Whoops. There we go. I am rolling terrible today. That's let's see. That's 10.
Cool. As you're looking at the satchel, you can see it's a little bit weary with age, but it's still very much intact. It's kind of a dark goldeny brown leather, pretty finely made, relatively simple, but it seems to be of good quality. As if you were to look inside of it, you would see on the inside is a small wooden carving, like maybe the size of a chess piece, of a deer depicted on its hind legs. Not a reindeer, but just kind of a standard deer.
Noro kind of
Standing how?
Fully on its back legs with its front legs kind of like curled in front of it.
Oh, like it's rearing up,
Yeah, like upright, fully standing upright.
like about to like butt into its head into something.
We wouldn't say so. I'd say it would be standing kind of like upright with a straight back, like a I don't know, not like unlike a deer normally would, I suppose.
Oh.
Noro kind of palms it over in his hand before grabbing the rest of the satchel.
Cool.
What's in it?
As you're kind of taking a step out of this shed, you would notice a little glint of light coming from the bottom of the toilet pit.
Noro kind of leans in a little bit.
This better not.
Make a perception check.
This better not be a fucking West of Loathing reference.
Perception?
Yeah.
21.
21, lovely. At the very bottom of
21?
the pit, in kind of, you can make it out through the darkness with your funny elven eyes. You see what seems to be like a kind of a glistening black, very small, like glassy kind of stone at the bottom, submerged in what you
This didn't end well for me last time.
hope not to imagine what it is. But yeah, you do see see something down there.
Noro just kind of like breathes out, and he's just like, things I do out of my curiosity. Just kind of slowly reaches his hand into the hole to try and grab it.
All right, to resist just gagging from what you're about to do, make me a con check.
Con check. So this another.
Fenris claps Noro on the back as he notices what he's about to do. Good luck.
Archie pinches the bridge of her nose, like not to like plug her nose, but like out of stress almost.
Yeah.
And just looks down and shakes her head.
You guys at this point are kind of just like circled around like the front entrance of this outhouse, right? Just like looking in
Noro
at this guy
his hand
halfway down the shitter.
That's a 22.
Lovely.
Oh my god.
You
He's a
your gloved hand, like the tips of your fingers kind of scrape slightly against the unfortunate mess that is down there, but you're
a terrible person.
You are able to grab this small little thing, and as you kind of pull yourself out of it with a little bit of like a cough and an exhale of the breath that you were holding, you find
Fenris is melting. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Fenris is melting a bunch of snow with the torch so that Noro can't fucking wash his hand off.
Yeah.
Noro's
definitely taking advantage of that.
You find in the palm of your hand is a small like glass carving, or what seems like glass. You identify it as obsidian, a carving of a fly. It's about the same size and shape as a fly, and definitely, here, how do I describe this? Yeah, just a small obsidian fly, a little covered in some stuff, but you can wipe that off pretty easily.
Noro kind of, like, with his glove as well, kind of like runs it through the melted snow to kind of clean it off a bit.
Yeah, lovely.
Odd thing to drop in the toilet.
Noro's just like.
Is it the size of a fly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about the same size and shape as a fly, made out of carved very finely out of obsidian.
See, I'm going, like, I know what the Yeti thing is, and I rolled higher on my nature check. I know Yetis have something, like they have a look thing. I don't think it turns things to obsidian though.
Yeah, so let me just make another nature check for me real quick.
Your 13 plus, what's my nature? 15.
Lovely. So from what you remember, just from doing your kind of research before heading into the Dale on your mission, you recall reading that some encounters with Yetis, particularly large and ferocious ones, seem to be able to, with their weird, like, kind of magic cold gaze, are able to hurt people and freeze them, just with their eyes. But there aren't many accounts of this. It seems to be few and far between. But it is something that they can do. Certain ones.
Fenris relays this as he's thinking aloud to himself and, like, looking at the outhouse. Well, I mean, they can't see his eyes, but he has his eyes narrowed.
Mm-hmm.
Noro kind of, like,
Did
holds
it grab?
both of the small little figurines in his hand, like both the deer and the fly.
Mm-hmm. During all this, Gwen, you will notice out of the corner of your eye something moving. If you were to look over towards it, kind of off in the clearing, still a good bit away from you, maybe like half a mile or so, you do see a figure with a bright red face staring directly towards your party, advancing.
What the? Guys.
Guys,
You're gonna want to see this.
Literally.
What is? Oh.
Well, here's
I'm
our
ready.
perpetrator.
You see this this
readying the sword and shield.
large Yeti that was once stealthily approaching, now knowing that's noticed, just charging. You do have a little bit before it gets to you.
Fenris
Less than a minute.
draws his sword, and
Yep.
I would like to. Let me just take a. Sorry, describe what you want to do real quick. I'm just looking through my spell list.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's
Noro
all. You
kinda,
guys have
like,
about
grips
a minute.
the two figurines and stuffs it into his pocket before, like, grabbing his spear from nearby the shed.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to, like, prepare Hexblade's Curse
Mm-hmm.
when it gets close by as a bonus action.
Sure.
And well, I don't know. Can you prepare two spells at once? I don't know. You can't.
I don't
know
think
if-
so. I think it's kind of only one at a time.
I don't know. I don't think Hexblade's Curse.
I don't think you need to
counts
prepare that because
as a spell.
it's like a bonus action. Like it's like a class feature thing.
Oh, well, the moment it comes within range, I'd like to place Hexblade's Curse on it and prepare an Eldritch Blast.
Sure.
Noro kind of steps back a little bit and just kind of readies his spear for an attack when it gets within range.
Okay, lovely.
Can I say that I put on the snowshoes before leaving the house?
Sure. Yeah. That's fair enough. You have a little less than a minute, so even if you wanted to just pop them on real quick, that's totally fine as well.
Oh yeah.
The snow around you, by the way,
Fair.
is about like shin deep. You can still move around freely, but maybe a little bit more delayed, unless you are wearing the snowshoes.
Fenris looks to the torch, by the way, that he's dropped on the ground, but it's still flaming.
Yeah.
Somebody should probably make that bigger.
This is that was also my way of saying your movement speed is halved unless you're wearing snowshoes when you're out in the snow.
And no problem.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely stepping in front of Archie protectively as well, shield up.
Lovely.
He's an ugly fucker, isn't he?
What's the Carson? What's the mug that I grabbed made out of? It's made out of like.
You would say maybe it's like a metal tin. It's a metal mug. I don't know what's.
Oh my god, the payoff.
What's the most like?
Yeah.
What's the most like? I don't know, common type of metal for like a mug. You'd imagine like I don't know, aluminum.
Probably
maybe?
I was
tin.
thinking if it was made of like ceramic or something.
Yeah, it is. It is just kind of like a metal tin. Or metal.
Nora kind of
mug.
like. Nora kind of like rolls, kind of like slips it out of his bag and rolls the mug full of lard over to the fire to kind of like make it grow much bigger than it was before.
Right. Lovely. Okay. Okay. So about this time, you know, the Yeti would come close enough to see that it's generally white fur is stained with red blood. You're not sure how much of it's from the other people from your cart or from itself. It does move with a little bit of hesitation as it comes close. You can tell it is already injured a little bit, but it's certainly still aggressive and coming at you. I would like everybody to roll for initiative.
Let's go.
Fenris's sword is like shivering in his hand.
Quaking.
That's a nat 20 from me.
Lovely.
Yippee.
That is what's my dexterity bonus? +3. That is a 17.
Lovely.
Oh my god, I got an 8. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So
This is
there
good,
is
the
a initiative.
Yeah, right.
There's an initiative channel. Everybody can write down their character's name with the
oh,
little
right.
thing and then the number that you got.
I do want to add though that as I prepared it, I do get the Eldritch Blast off just as it enters range.
Okay, let me do a thing real quick.
What did I say it was again? 17? There we go. Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa!
Me watching Noro dip his hand into the outhouse hole.
Real.
Whoa!
Save this hit point.
That boy ain't right. He's
Honestly, if I made Noro just slightly more unhinged, I would have had him like chuck shit at the fucking Yeti as it ran.
That would have been awesome.
So I just gotta roll a couple things.
Dude, Naro fucking like ultra instinct. His spidey senses like fucking activated.
He's like, oh.
He immediately saw like something with fur and blood on it coming towards them that everyone was looking at, and like his hunter instincts have just taken over.
Like under his breath,
The
Noro
primal.
kind of mutters something in Elvish.
Oh, what did he say? I know Elvish.
I know it too.
No, we all know Elvish.
Well, actually, no way. I don't know straight Elvish. I know Sylvan, but I imagine like that denotes I would pick up a few words.
It's like the equivalent of knowing like Spanish and hearing an Italian person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nora said something to the effect of "Come at me, you son of a bitch."
Oh yeah.
Sick.
Well said.
As you get close immediately, you know, launch an Eldritch Blast at it. You know, roll to hit.
All right. Roll to hit. 17 plus my fucking 23.
Cool, it hits.
And then 8 plus my charisma bonus. Oh no, wait, it's my fucking spell attack. But 8 plus 6, 14. 14 damage.
Lovely. Okay.
I'll leave it to you to like describe it.
Yeah. Sorry, just one moment. I have to figure a thing out. Sorry, the brain math. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you'll you have your hands already raised, kind of that sort of like black, almost like inky kind of smoke emanating from them, and as the Yeti kind of finally comes over the ridge near you, you let out the Eldritch Blast. So it's just quick, like in a moment, goes and blasts them, like kind of like on the in the chest. And he sort of like fumbles a little bit, but it's still like it's galloping. Like this thing has like momentum with it.
In the same vein as Noro, as the spell leaves his fingertips, he mutters something in Sylvan. He says "Imi," which is
Nice.
Irish for "be gone."
Nice.
Very cool.
All right, so I think, let's see.
What's added to your initiative? Because you got a natural 20, but
X.
It is Dex added to it, yeah.
Okay. +1, so that's 21.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
gotcha.
So now it is. Blinks one at a time. I'm looking at the wrong channel.
Oh wait, hold on. Did I forget to add a damage roll? Hold on. I'm very sorry. You get about
because you got your funny
How much did I roll to hit? That was okay. Okay, so I actually do 2 more damage, and technically that was a critical hit.
Okay.
Damn.
What was the?
Oh no, actually no, that wasn't a nat 19 or 20. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay. So how much damage are you doing total?
What I did for to the 16.
16. Okay. Cool.
Damn.
My God.
Cool.
It just blasted the shit out of him before
All
he
right. So now next it would be Gwen.
So the Yeti's not like immediately upon us, right?
It's
How far away is it?
at this point. It's about like maybe like say like 20 feet. You have
60
enough
feet?
with your or Gwen with your snowshoes. You're able to reach it if you wanted to.
Oh wait, okay. I do have a question for like combat logistics. So
Sure.
I can cast Eldritch Blast the moment it's within range.
Mhm.
And the range of Eldritch Blast, I believe it's at least 50 feet, or sorry, at least 60 feet.
Uh huh.
Let me check real quick. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
120 feet.
Uh huh.
So I don't know if it was closer than 120 feet, sure, but I still would have technically like hit it and initiated combat in that fashion.
I see what you mean.
And it would need to move its like movement speed on its turn to get to
right.
us.
I see what you mean. Let me see.
I'm sorry if that fucks up the encounter.
No, it's all good. I get yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Let me see. It has. Okay, so that was how many feet away did you say it was?
Well, the max range is 120, but
Yeah,
I would
okay.
say, if it was like 60 feet away or something, like I don't know.
All right, let me
That's
see.
60 feet is a general spell range.
Okay, 120.
Actually, no, 60 feet is within Hexblade's Curse, so it would have been when I put Hexblade's Curse on it. So
Okay,
60
cool.
feet.
Cool. That means it is. Okay, it is 20 feet away right now.
Okay.
I gotta. Okay, yeah. Okay,
Okay,
that's
cool.
fine.
20 feet.
Okay. Also, I heard Ryan, you were about to say something. Do you remember what you're gonna say?
Oh, I was just asking like who got the other pair of snowshoes, or did Gwen like give that to Archie?
You gave it to
That, yeah, I
Yeah,
gave
okay.
it to you.
Okay.
And then John Noro got the what do you call it?
The
freaking-
crampons.
Yes, the tampons.
Right.
Yes.
Um, okay, yeah. I don't want to leave Archie's side, but
You have a range weapon.
I do. But it's 30 feet minimum.
Go
it's
on,
fine.
Gwen.
I'll just
Protect.
yeah. I'll just,
Is it?
I'll rush up to
It's
it.
20 feet
Would you
away.
be able
You're able to reach it.
That's within movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I will run up to it and take a swing with my rapier.
Lovely. Roll the hit.
Math.
Imagine.
16.
Imagine.
No, not 16. 17 to hit.
17. Lovely. You hit. Roll for damage.
Will do. Ooh, 7.
Cool. Okay, so as you kind of, like, you run up to this Yeti, which is already, like, kind of charging at you, and you meet it in the middle and kind of, like, just almost even just, like, hold the rapier out forward as it kind of, like, scrapes it, like, cuts into, like, its belly, kind of, like, going through and popping out the back as it kind of, like, rears back in, like, kind of pain and anger. You can tell this thing has already been cut up by the people who are fending themselves off, but, it's not looking great, but it's still, like, just through its weird primal kind of like rage, it's still trucking.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Can I bonus action? Freaking. Tentacle grapple?
Ooh.
I assume because it's bigger than me, I wouldn't be able to like grapple it, but just like
that's actually a good question. I think you can grapple. Can you grapple large things?
I think you can grapple large things if you are a large creature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gwen is pretty tall.
I think all of you guys, like,
yeah, I don't think
count
6
as a
feet is a
medium
large creature.
But let me.
Yeah,
Not
6
a
feet
lot,
would
yeah.
count as a medium creature.
Oh yeah, good point.
What the fuck?
It's a
I
large
think
creature. It is a large creature for me.
No, I don't want the fucking page, the actual page on, like, actual IRL how to grapple somebody. I want D&D stuff, please. Okay. Sorry. Let me.
no worries.
Okay, just for now, I will say that it is too big to grapple, but I will double check with that with you. And sorry if I'm incorrect on this ruling, but I suppose
No,
just.
you're good. I think you're right.
Okay, cool. Okay. And
Do
then
you know if like readying a shield is a bonus action?
no, you just kind of have it like on as default. It kind of counts almost like armor.
Yeah,
it just
like
takes like
shields
a
kind of
AC.
add on to your DC.
Yeah.
Or your AC.
Okay, now it is
Okay.
Noro's turn.
Gotcha. All right, so Noro kind of like puts his spear and like underneath his arm, and he sort of takes a weird position with his arm stretched out and his other arm back, as if he's pulling back on an invisible arrow. And for everybody who could see it, they could see a faint, almost sort of purple aura, semi-transparent kind of pool out from his fingers as I prepare a mind arrow to fire at the Yeti.
Lovely.
You said it was injured on like its body?
Yeah, it's pretty cut and scraped up. No particular like Legend of Zelda big glowing eyeball like wound, but it's got a few cuts and scrapes and gouges.
Gotcha. So I'll just have Noro fire a mind arrow at its face.
Lovely. All right, roll the hit.
That is a 15.
Cool. All right, that is a hit. You can roll for
15
damage.
plus your spell attack bonus?
Oh yeah, 15 plus spell attack bonus.
Just like reminding you so you don't forget.
Gotcha. So that is a 21 to hit.
Lovely, definitely hits.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Now you'll get a cooler RP moment.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna cooler RP mode. Okay.
This is the big brain moves.
Oh, yeah.
That is a 2.
Lovely. As you pull back this arrow, it flings forward that kind of like purple, almost misty kind of trail following this like spectral kind of arrow, that flies towards the Yeti's face, and as it like kind of clatters into its open mouth, you can see as it like directly strikes one of its teeth, like breaking it off. Like if several of its teeth kind of fly back into its mouth and it sort of like chokes on it for a second after like spitting them out. Definitely very upset about that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool.
And now it is.
It is, I believe.
Where's the initiative? Oh, there it is.
Initiative.
Someone.
Now it
either
is
me or
Fenris.
the Yeti.
It is my
Oh,
turn.
right.
Fenris, how far away is it now?
It's about
more
20.
than-
It's about 20 feet.
It's about 20 feet. My movement speed is halved.
Yeah. I believe your movement speed is 15 right now.
Well,
Tragic.
it would be tragic if I couldn't fade out of the scene world and suddenly appear behind the Yeti and slash at its back with my longsword.
For context, he can actually do this. This is a thing.
Yes, I have an ability called Blessing of the Shadowfell,
Yeah.
Nice.
which allows me for a number of times equal to my proficiency bonus per day, I can teleport 30 feet
Ooh.
The time has come.
as a bonus action.
The come is time.
So this is a bonus action, and my economy is fine actually. Yeah, there we go. Roll to hit. Ooh, 19 plus. Get a bonus to damage roll. Okay, that's damage roll. 19 plus. It's my fucking. What do I add to just regular melee attacks again? I forget.
So you
My
have
attack
a
bonus.
long. I think it
plus
could,
6.
what you're wielding counts as a long sword, so I think it would just be your strength modifier. I think.
No. It's attack bonus, I believe, unless that's just extra damage. I don't think that's how attack bonus works.
I think so. You have two separate things. You have one bonus, which is to like the bonus to roll to hit, and then the only thing that gets added to your damage, like on top of whatever you roll. Generally, and I know you have 50 other things, but is just going to be your strength modifier for the sword.
Yeah, well, if it's the attack bonus, then in that case it is a 25.
Level 1, by the way.
Yeah, level 1 by the way.
Powerful.
Just to double check, what when you're saying attack bonus, is that the like what do you mean?
I have it like right next to my if you're looking at my character sheet right now, right? You see where I have my longsword?
Yeah.
Right next to there, attack bonus, and then it has the damage type.
Yeah.
So
I
I would
believe-
assume that's what attack bonus is.
Yeah, I believe attack bonus is like adding.
Yeah, it's the addition of your
like 2 hit.
Roll to okay.
So how much
Hello?
damage would it be?
The damage would be that's 1d10 plus my proficiency bonus. Is there anything else I'm adding on top of that? Hold on.
Damage is plus your proficiency bonus?
Yes, that's from Hexblade's Curse.
I see.
That's a d10. That is 10. 8 plus 2.
Lovely. As you kind of fucking miss like. How would you describe like how it looks when you use your Shadowfell blessing?
He almost like simply fades, like he bleaches, like in a single second, like he bleaches into almost like a ghostly form, and he's gone. And then suddenly he just like reappears somewhere in. There's like a slight like rustle of wind just from the air being displaced, but nothing else.
Lovely.
And like as he reappears, there's normally like
Where am I?
normally throughout this whole process there's like a slight like tendril of shadow or smoke sort of thing.
Lovely. As you appear behind this Yeti with kind of just like a large gash into the back of this thing, it kind of lurches forward with sort of like a groan. Lovely. Cool. All right. So now it is. Let me see. What is your? Who has the higher dex?
+2.
Yeah. Wait. What's your like
My-
actual dex stat? Like what's your number?
My dex
Or
is
sorry
16.
for Archie.
14.
Oh.
14. Cool. Lovely. You beat it by 1, so you get to have your turn first.
Let's go. Okay. Archie's gonna reach her left hand out, palm up to the sky, and then like clench a fist as if to like crush something, and shout perish as she casts brain rot.
Lovely.
Okay, so the Yeti needs to make a DC 14 con save.
Okay, cool. DC 14 cones.
Oh, my brain, it's rotting.
It's rotting. No.
Oh, my
No,
brain,
what?
it is rotting.
Oh,
I
my
knew I
He has
should
a
run
German
his
accent.
TikTok.
This
Oh
Yeti.
my God.
You see the Yeti kind of like lurch forward and clutch its head for a second, but it kind of reels back up, looking at you, just holding your hand in the sky as it resists the effect.
Damn. So it passed.
It nat 20'd on it. I'm sorry.
God damn. All right. Yeah. Bummer. Oh well.
It's too stupid. Its brain is it's got too much stink in it.
It's too
there is no brain to rot.
Um.
Okay. Well, that's my turn then. There's no like half damage or anything on that.
Okay. So.
Fenris sort of like chuckles a little bit, like, well, it's more like a bark of laughter, and like shouts over to Archie, "It didn't do anything."
Damn.
It must be too stupid for it to do anything.
Oh, sure.
As.
Archie just
Asshole.
glares back.
I'd say okay, so the now it is the Yeti's turn.
No.
Oh yeah. The Yetor.
Yedor.
Like, oh,
The Yeti's real.
Dios mío.
It's going to just immediately at the first target in front of it, Gwen. It'll kind of like with both of its arms swung up in the sky. It'll kind of like slam them down at you for a kind of just a big like claw attack with this weird
Gwen?
like weird like red meaty hand claws.
Like Gwen?
At Gwen, yeah.
Okay.
So let me. That is going to be a. Oh my god, this fucking Yeti, dude.
Bruh.
That's a nat 20 roll for the Yeti +6.
Oh my.
Oh
Plus 6.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh my
That's
god,
cool.
he crit.
That's cool.
The Yeti crit.
No, DM, stop. Stop
Okay,
rolling nat 20s.
this is
No.
I don't know.
dude. Why can't I do this as a player? It's fucked up. I never get 20s. Question
All right,
for
MJ,
roll
start rolling up a new character.
for roll to hit in a normal for like if you were to crit on like the roll to hit, is there anything in the actual game like that happens? Because I don't remember.
I believe the
doesn't it
general
double your-
rule. No. The general rule for a critical hit is that you do the maximum damage possible for your attack roll.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. Like some DMs don't run that with
Sure.
creatures though, so it's really
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
kind
know,
of
it depends.
Sure.
Some
Okay.
people think that it's fine. Some people think that
Sure.
some things can just do a stupid amount of damage and instantly kill everyone.
It depends.
I'm reading the freaking critical hit rule on D&D Beyond, and it says roll all of the attacks damage dice twice and add them together.
Okay, I have something in
it's
mind.
just a
I have something in
Oh.
mind. I have. But yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it does hit.
I just really said,
Oh, he said fuck. So that is.
I
I
didn't shoot
imagine that
his
is
teeth
like an
in, so-
unearthly bellow.
Sorry, I'm about to get a thing.
Ba-bo-bit.
How much?
All right. So as you know, as this Yeti like just lumbers its hands down at you, quick, you see kind of like a glint of like blue ice sort of form on its claws as it strikes down at you. And you'll take 4 slashing damage and 4 cold damage.
Oof. Okay. Ouch.
He got freaking angy. All right, so I
Angy.
believe that's back to the top of the turn order, which is Gwen.
Yeah, that hurt.
Is it? Oh yeah. I thought it was Nara.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. I'll I'll second wind.
Yeah.
Let's go.
1d10. Where's the d10? I found the d10.
Just for reference, that's a bonus action, right?
Nice.
I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I got an 8 plus 1.
Lovely.
So I regained all the health.
Damn.
Fucking tank
Nice.
that Estus flask,
Gwen is
motherfucker.
tank.
Oh yeah. Okay,
He's
and
so
then take another swing with the rapier. That's not good. That's 7.
Lovely. All right. Yeah. So as this thing just like slammed its hands down on you, you reoriented yourself, kind of, did a invigorated yourself once again, and then struck at it with the rapier. But this time the Yeti knew better and kind of like sloshed its big mass to the side out of the way with its like big long white hair,
Yeah.
kind of it's like swaying out of the way. Kind of goes through the hair, but not through any actual meat. Now it will be Noro. Noro.
Oh yeah.
It's now your
Sorry.
turn. Yeah, no
That's
worries.
Let's see here.
Or a word,
so-
death.
Power word shit.
No.
Let's see. Okay, so, quick question: am I able to shape snow with shape water?
I would say
Generally speaking, I
no,
believe.
but earlier Fenris did like melt some of the snow, so there is sort of it's still cooling down so quickly it will kind of turn into ice. But there's still I would say there's some water nearby where he was like kind of melting it on the ground.
Well, no. Remember, I told him to make the fire bigger, and he rolled all that fat onto it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was right next to a wooden outhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I
that's
think that
probably-
it would still be melting, and there would still be a fire
Yeah,
there.
there's still
Probably.
part
Giant
around.
inferno erupts from the outhouse.
okay. Because I was gonna try and see is it very close to the outhouse?
It's still like 20 feet from the outhouse, I would say, kind of like where you guys were. You're all sort of like huddled around it.
Within general spell range.
Okay. So, well, it's not close enough that I could spook it with the fire. But
It has this entire
like-
time through all its rage. It has been like eyeing the torches if anybody's wielding them, or the fire of the the fire.
The torch.
okay.
Is it?
So
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna try and see if I could like move close and grab one of like the bigger, like now that it's like basically the entire stick is on fire at this point.
Sure.
Just kind of like pick it up and then just kind of huck it at the
Sure.
Yeti.
Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
Intimidation.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about the clapping. There's a mosquito.
Ooh, that's a nat 1.
Lovely.
No.
The
Nat 1 with
No, not lovely.
plus 4 from charisma, but that's a 5.
this.
Is there a roll to hit it?
I was gonna say, are
But I
you
don't
are
think
you
it
throwing
matters.
it like at it or like nearby it?
I'm throwing it nearby it.
Okay. Okay. The Yeti will like see this flaming torch flying at it, and very kind of surprisingly, generally Yetis as kind of Fenris mentioned earlier are usually pretty terrified of fire, but it kind of sees this display and sort of sees it as like a territorial, like macho kind of like thing, and it sort of like bolsters its chest up a little bit more, like trying to act bigger. Seeing the fire on the ground next to it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Did-
I would
so
say
that
that would
throw
be
doesn't-
that would be your action because you like picked up a thing and threw it. You still have like bonus action
Yeah.
if you have
Yeah.
anything else to do, or if you'd like to move, or
let's see here.
whatever.
I guess. Well, am I like in an area where the snow is still thick?
Yeah,
did
you
move
got
a little bit.
you are going to have have the movement speed, so I think you have 15 feet of movement.
Get behind the
15 feet.
outhouse and get cover bonus.
Yeah, I'll have Noro just with what's left of his movement move a little bit behind the
Sure, yeah.
probably burning outhouse.
Yeah,
At this
you were
point.
you were the closest to the outhouse. Like you were kind of literally in the doorway when all this kind of first went down. So you can pretty quickly kind of like swap out to the side and duck behind it. Cool. If that is the end of your
I was just gonna say, if it's my turn, if I could make a perception check to like see if this is like how damaged it is, like how how ragged it is.
Sure. I would say that would count as. Do you think that would count as a free action or a bonus action if you're like taking a second to like?
I believe
check
you
this
can
thing?
just most of the time you can just perception check a thing because I am just looking at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's generally like a sometimes people use insight as well as like a
Right.
sort of
Yeah. Just 'cause
maybe read the next move.
Yeah. If you're trying to see just how damaged this thing is, I would say the just perception check.
Yeah, okay, that is 13 plus. What is my fucker? It's plus 4, I think. Yeah, 17.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you can definitely tell this thing is pretty bloodied. Like it wouldn't take too much to take this thing down. It's definitely keeping this very big like intimidating scare factor about it, but you can tell it's limping. It's not doing too good.
Fenris, as a bonus action, will like point the blade at the Yeti and whisper something to it and cast Hex.
Lovely.
And I will Hex. It's let me just make sure that it's not fucking. It works the same way as Folder's Gate.
Is Hex a save?
And I'm not.
I forget.
I believe Hex just goes on. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, let me just check the whole thing for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not okay. It has nothing. It just gets added.
Is that the same thing as your curse or the thing that has written in your features and traits?
No, Hexblade's curse is as bonus action. Choose one creature you. The target is cursed for 1 minute. No, so it's not an exclusive thing.
Cool.
I can have both on at the same time.
Cool.
So I'm going to. What would be the best thing to give this thing disadvantage on? Constitution saving throws, maybe? Dexterity saving throws?
Well,
I'm gonna Hex its con.
Okay.
And I am going to swing at it with my greatsword. He's gonna raise his sword over his head and just aim to fucking cleave this thing vertically.
Lovely. All right, roll the hit, baby.
17 plus 23.
Lovely.
Holy moly.
Lovely. So as you
Hold on, wait. Let me get my damage in. Just in case you want to know, it's 8 plus my fucking. Is it 8 plus anything? No, it's just 8 plus. Oh yeah, so it's 10 plus what's my fucking 1d6. 3 necrotic damage.
Lovely. So, you can feel free to describe how you take down this thing that has been giving you guys a lot of fucking trouble.
As he raises the sword up to cleave this Yeti in two vertically, to bisect it, in the dim, like sunlit, light, like the illumination, it almost looks like it almost looks like the blade is fluttering like a butterfly's wings. Not a butterfly's wings, sorry, a dragonfly's wings. Or like a hummingbird. Like there's almost like poppies or shadows of the blade itself emanating from it. And he brings the sword down, and it doesn't simply like cleave through the Yeti. It leaves like a blackened wake of just it's not even like rotten, it's like ash.
Mm-hmm.
And you see from the Yeti some force within it, some vaguely colored shape slowly be drawn from its body into the blade.
Slain is the monster. So
Let's go.
the large kind of mass, this body will slump over kind of in the middle of all of you, like right next to Gwen. As it
Fenris
hits
kicks it in the head.
yeah, hits the ground with a big thump. You can.
It was fucking cold in that shack, you little fucker.
All right.
What just happened with your sword?
Hmm? This old thing?
Yes.
Well, he unsheaths the blade and holds it closer to her. Not like pointing it at her, but you could take a look if you'd like.
I will take it.
I imagine
And
Noro didn't see
Oh
it.
no, don't take it. That's a bad idea.
You can see like as you
Okay.
were like halfway reaching towards the sword like almost like flicks back towards Fenris for a moment.
Oh,
interesting.
don't worry though. On the blade itself, the blade, it almost doesn't look like metal. It's something black, like almost like you could, like let's say like a prism sort of thing, like glass, and within you see constantly shifting shadow. On the hilt, like sort of obscured by when it was in the sheath, there is a motif of skulls connecting the blade and the hilt. 2 humanoid skulls. And shadow magic is practically like smoldering off of it. I don't know, Carson, if they could be able to make like a history check or something.
I don't believe they would have the context for it. If you're as your character wanted to describe
It is like
and answer the
it is
question,
like
but-
a folk tale.
right.
Because we said
Let's
that essentially the way his background feature worked was that it was like reverse
Yeah.
folk hero.
Yeah. I would say yeah, sure. If you'd like a Gwen, you can make
'Cause
a.
I don't know how I can in character give an explanation as to
Right.
like
Sure,
what's
sure.
going on with this.
Yeah, Gwen, if you'd like to make a history check, you can.
16.
Lovely. You seem to recall as a child maybe or through just word of mouth in your time in the Dale, hearing stories of just an old tale describing something called the Wild Hunt. So you don't recall the exact details, but supposedly it was several people. Sorry, how do I describe this? It was.
No worries, take your time.
Yeah.
You can like compose your thoughts.
Yeah.
And
It's
make
kind of
myself go
an old tale of a king and his huntsmen, kind of riding sort of spectral seeds, them being spectral themselves, who at night would ride through towns and claim souls to join their hunt. They would claim souls to then also go hunt in their own realm, their own plane of existence. And you recognize this sword just from an offhanded description of one of those swords. You're not confident it's what it is, but from what you've seen today, you wouldn't be surprised if these tales maybe were based more in fact than you thought.
Interesting. Seb, are you still here? Did you go
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
to make coffee? Okay.
No, I'm still here while I'm making coffee. Don't worry.
Gotcha.
A boon from my king.
What? Where in the world are you from?
Far away.
Nora kind of peeks from behind the burning outhouse. He's like, "Did we get him?"
Fenris
looks
like
pretty dead from
gestures very dramatically to the Yeti, and then for good measure he kicks it again. I don't think it's getting up.
Noro's just kind of, he's just like, "Yes, it seems like that way." Pulls himself from behind the burning shed. He kind of like holds his nose a bit because it's now a burning outhouse full of shit.
Yeah, that smell is getting worse and worse. As you guys kind of stand there, the wind's still howling through, thankfully blowing in the opposite direction of the outhouse. You'll kind of notice in your surroundings it is mostly just hills and knolls, kind of for quite a while. But you'll see, like once again distantly on the hill.
There are
Knolls. The fucking off in the distance you can see the very faint flickering lights from Bryn Shander upon a hill. If you were to travel there, it might take several hours, the good part of the day, to reach it. There's
Well,
yeah.
let's fuck off.
Oh, also, sorry, I forgot to mention. Make sure to mark down that one ration taken from your inventory from that long rest that you guys took.
Yeah.
Am I able
Nice,
to,
I have
like,
0.
cut any?
Gwen is going to starve.
Gwen is going. Well, we still have. Noro kind of sees that Gwen is out of food, and he's like, "Gwen, here," and he tosses them the bag filled with jerky.
Oh yeah, with the
Oh,
caribou
thank you.
jerky.
As Fenris is walking away and he sheaths the sword again, he says something in deep speech, which I'll leave it up to Carson to decide what deep speech sounds like.
Sure.
I kind of imagine like black speech from fucking Lord of the Rings. It's unintelligible unless any of you know deep speech, but I'll DM you what it is, Carson.
Yeah, so
Swings a
DM
little
me
bit.
what it is, and if anybody knew it, I would send it to them.
Noro does indeed understand deep speech, so
Lovely.
he's able to hear it.
Oh,
Cool.
freaks.
I guess then they're all related to you, John.
Thank you.
Cool.
Does the sword do anything in response?
You'll kind of you'll after he says this kind of unintelligible I will describe later type of speech, you'll see the sword, like almost hard to describe, but have a sort of like a very like calming sort of I don't know how to describe this. It almost looks like satiated. It almost looks like it kind of snugs itself back into the sheath.
All the shadows and the stuff that were like writhing off of it, like
calm
faintly
now.
sort of like recede.
Yeah.
It like flashes less wildly.
I imagine if Fenris would see Noro get like a sort of strange expression as he sees Fenris say what he just said, and then see the shadows slip back into the sheath, and he just kind of like turns around and kind of like moves his way over to the Yeti to see if he can find anything on it.
Sure.
Just that small moment of like he does recognize what he just said.
Yeah. Upon the Yeti's body, you don't see anything in particular, but you notice a lot of like cut wounds and kind of scorch marks, supposedly from the people trying to fend themselves on the cart. You saw this thing attacking people. Most people tried running away. Some people even stood there to try to fight back, but it didn't go well for any of them. As far as you can tell, you guys were the only
Also,
people
MJ is just going to the bathroom real quick.
True.
Oh no, that was a while ago.
Okay.
Oh
cool.
shit, sorry.
You're good. You're
I
good.
I kept hearing dedupes.
As far as you guys,
Okay.
as far as you guys are aware, you're the only people to make it out alive, and kind of gathered outside during the chaos, and headed it to this cabin. But this This Yeti doesn't necessarily have any items on it. You can see there's still blood draining from its mouth and several parts of its body from its broken teeth that have kind of fallen into the back of its throat. Yeah.
You don't suppose there's anything left in that wrecked caravan?
Noro quickly, just almost as if by instinct, just kind of starts, shoves his knife into the Yeti and starts pulling at the muscle from its body and starts putting it into his bag.
Lovely. Yeah, you can add I would just say like a cut of Yeti meat.
This is vital protein.
True.
That'll get us through the night.
Yeah, you cut into like a big meaty chunk of its thigh and just get like a long hunk, like a long cut of meat.
Nora kind of sniffs it a little bit. He's like,
It
just starts.
It smells pretty almost bitter. It's certainly not a very delicious food, but it can provide sustenance. Should it be
Predators
prepared?
tend to have parasites in their meat, I'm sure you do know.
From your time hunting, you're certainly aware that you would need to.
You do know that, right?
As a hunter from your time, you certainly know that for any normal person, you would need to cook this meat to get any sort of sustenance out of it.
Noro, you know that, right?
Noro just turns at him. He's just like, I know what I'm doing. Slipping literal meat from something they just stabbed and cut multiple times over into.
Do you know the things that just did to that? I don't know if you want to eat that, Noro.
No,
I don't.
Noro.
She did just use like shadowy necrotic magic on it.
Noro just kind of like without breaking eye contact, just kind of just rips like a small chunk out of it with his knife, just kind of puts it between his teeth, and he's like, yeah, I know. And just kind of puts it into his bag.
It is a thing. It's a hunter tradition that like when you kill something, you eat a little sliver of it raw. It's normally like an organ thing, but I think Fenris would sort of appreciate the gesture in some fashion and sort of nods his head and he like claps Naru's shoulder for a second and then turns away and he rustles around in his cloak for something.
No.
Love this
And
bromance.
he pulls out a satchel and a pipe.
Noro kind of
begins.
squints a little bit. He's like, what have you got over there?
He says nothing as he slowly lights it, and like as he's inhaling, not because he's like purposefully not answering. And you see the light just barely illuminate the outline of his face, and he proffers it to you. You want to
Takes
try?
it. Yeah, Noro
Give us something
holds his
to-
hand up.
Celebrate the fight.
Most certainly.
I'll leave it up to Carson to describe what Feywild silly style does.
I think if you would like, you can feel free to describe that. I think you would have more descriptive words for it.
Noro kind of places it between his teeth and takes a huff of it.
The smoke is not like, a regular burning herb. It tastes like a conflux of different flavors, like fruits and like various like dried aromatics. And as the smoke hits your lungs, you feel a wave of deep nostalgia. You notice that even in the dim sunset, the dim sunrise, dawn color, everything seems to become brighter. Like the colors are more saturated, outlines are sharper, like your perception increases. And you feel a deep comfort in your chest and like radiating into your bones.
Interesting. Like Noro kind of like sits there for a brief moment after like taking a huff of this, and like he like breathes out, and like the smoke just kind of rolls out from his nostrils. So who's looking at Nora right now, by the way?
I mean, I would be.
I'm sure
just
Archie's
everybody's kind of
definitely like
Yeah,
observing.
I suppose everybody
Yeah.
would likely be paying attention.
Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody roll a perception.
Yup.
Mm. Oh yeah, baby!
No, not-
Perception proficiency time.
11.
I love being an elf. What is it?
9.
That is 10 plus 4, 14.
For reference,
I
because
don't know
you know
what-
it's up to you to describe or to decide what the quote unquote DC is for it. For general reference, 10 is something that anybody could notice. 15 is something, or 10 is something that generally it's kind of like 50-50 whether you notice or not, like it's a
No.
normal thing. And then 15 is a more like challenging or difficult one. 20 is nearly impossible. So that just for
Okay.
reference of what you want to make the DC for this.
I'd say this is a 13.
Sure, reasonable.
So who is
Ooh, what do I see? I passed it. I got 14.
Yeah,
Okay.
who passes 13?
So who passes 13?
Not me.
Not me.
Dang.
Okay,
Jinx.
so
I am
Fenris
looking at him very
Yeah.
carefully, so I suppose that makes sense.
For a brief moment, you can sort of see his eyes change color. His eyes are normally like a deep black, like like just sort of like a sort of
Like
steely,
human black.
like human black, but you can almost just barely see his eyes shift from black to an almost kind of translucent green before he kind of shakes his head. He's like, "This is amazing."
I have about. He like hefts his pouch and like sort of theatrically weighs it. 50 grams left?
50.
Nora, probably the first grin, like visible grin you see out of Noro from like all night. He's just like, "You and I are gonna be very good friends."
Yeah. He holds out his hand again, but this time when Noro like goes to shake it, he like claps him on the forearm, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think so.
I can't wait to put you
Yeah,
guys on a
bro.
quest when you run out of that Feywild weed to go get more.
Anyone else?
Me, perhaps some other time.
Suit yourself.
Yeah.
Whenever Noro is done taking a few puffs, he takes like a few more puffs until whatever he packed into the pipe is expended, and then he tucks it back into his cloak.
As a small thing for Fenris specifically, you don't see Noro's eyes change color after any of the other huffs. Just that one moment.
Mm.
Lovely.
Also, yeah, no, he's gonna be seeing shit like this for the next 6 hours.
Oh.
Cool.
But he doesn't feel like, like dulled. He feels sharper, if anything. He just feels very warm and nostalgic about things.
Yeah. Lovely. What would you guys like to do now?
I think we are going to travel to I forgot its name.
Bryn Shander.
Bryn Shander.
Lovely.
On trekking.
So true. That's what I'm saying. All right. Yeah.
Dragon.
I guess you guys will set out. Those of you with the snowshoes are able to traverse a little easier. But you do obviously wait for the rest of your party that doesn't have it. Let me roll a thing. Actually, no.
only
Good question. Who
Fenris.
wants to roll the first fucking like wild encounter?
I
Yeah,
actually
let
need
the
to
hunter
check
make the
on-
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's also
Yeah,
um,
the guy who's a little faded. Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. I agree.
I did just say that his perception is sharpened.
yeah. The
It's not necessarily
the Feywild weed has no mechanical effects.
Yeah, no, it's just there. All right, let me make a roll.
Yeah.
Is
So
it a 20 or?
just a d20, yeah.
Okay, I got a 9.
Lovely. Okay. Let me do a thing.
Is that like plus all your proficiencies?
It's just a it's just a normal. It's just a flat roll.
Just a flat 20. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a survival or a nature check. You said.
No. Yeah, this is just like a just for fun, letting you guys roll on this like encounter table.
Mm.
Let me peep this out real quick. Sorry, this
in
might
like
take a moment.
5
Yes.
minutes, I need to go check on the dogs, but I should be back in like 20 afterwards.
Gotcha. Well, let me see. That's what I'm saying.
Fenris the Hound being the Hound.
The Fenris
What,
of wisdom.
The Fenris of wisdom. What unrestricted internet access does to a person.
Terrible things. Oh fuck, we forgot to have them fucking sweet tunes playing in the background.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We need to play
No.
Secunda in the afterglow of the victory.
Well, we're yeah. I was about to say you can put it on right now as you guys are traveling. Put on some of that sweet Skyrim background travel music.
Get my coffee. Let me. There we go. Oh, now I get to think of cool. I'll like share the thing. Why is MJ hosting?
Wait, what? Yeah, I don't know.
What
That's
the
weird.
hell?
If you click it, I think you
alright.
can share it. Ah, there we go.
Okay, cool.
I like our little band of misfits here.
Nice little afterglow of victory, getting high moment.
Oh yeah.
We got
Actually, it's actually an ad with I forgot George Clooney in it.
We got a short junkie, a tall junkie with a strange sword. We got a reasonable healer, and we have wit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
And
god,
Gwen.
that hits hard.
Sorry, it was taking more than a second than I thought it would. So.
You know what?
What?
Is it this? I actually think this is a bit more appropriate for our current predicament. We'll play Secunda during a long rest.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I have to join
Yeah, there we
the
go.
Discord thing.
Ancient stones.
This definitely, venturing out at dawn after
Slaying a Yeti.
a harsh battle and a long night and unfortunate events.
Lovely. Okay, as you guys are traveling.
Just wandering through the tundra.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me roll a thing.
Don't download it, Sebastian. Don't do it. You can't. Todd Howard, no.
Let me peek
Damn it!
this.
You're gonna make me fucking download it if you.
Todd Howard, why?
Oh.
All right.
Okay,
Emperor
bye.
Palpatine.
As you were traveling,
Emperor Palpatine.
oh wait.
Your mic is doing the crackly.
Yeah.
The forbidden crackle.
Something I should ask at the
What was that?
good or bad? We good?
Yeah, good.
Hey, you
Okay,
good
cool,
now.
cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to just assume it's Noro this time, but when you guys are traveling, generally speaking, I'll ask for somebody who is leading, and that'll just determine a thing or two. Noro, I want you to make a perception check.
Gotcha. That's a 12 plus my perception, 16.
Lovely. You, as you were going over these hills, getting closer and closer, you guys have been traveling on foot for about like 3 hours or so. It's been a good while of just walking. You hear what you can only describe as like a faint giggling coming over the next hill. It's hurriedly being shushed by other voices. But it's certainly something you can audibly hear.
Do I sense fate trickery?
Noro kind of grips his spear a little bit. He's like, "Did you hear that?"
I hope I don't have to cut someone else's head off.
Would you guys?
And Noro kind of like pushes his like spear forward and kind of like slowly approaches the sound, trying his best to be quiet.
As you kind of reach the crest of this hill, kind of tucked away in like a little like pocket on the other side of the hill, you see 3 gnolls with their backs pushed against the hill, kind of like sitting next to each other. Each of them holding a spear, but the one in the middle kind of like giggling and cackling and just this kind of like awful thing, while the other 2 are kind of hastily like shoving it and punching it to try to make it quit its speaking. As you hear them speak like, be quiet, you'll ruin the surprise. As the other ones still just giggling in anticipation. They haven't noticed you.
I assume Fenris has followed Nara, by the way.
Yeah, you guys are all kind of relatively near each other. Noro.
Know what a gnoll is?
Make a nature check.
I think that they'll... Did we not establish that gnolls were like common, like goblins?
They're a thing, but I still, would like them to make a nature check.
Sure.
Yeah, nature check. Got it.
Should we all roll one, or?
Yeah, if you guys would see this and want to try to identify what it is, or maybe get more information about it than you already know.
I mean, I imagine he is familiar, but I will.
Was that nature check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Lovely.
8.
Oh,
Lovely.
I rolled an 8, bro. Oh, everybody knows.
No. Everyone but the hunter.
That's so fucking funny.
All right.
That's a fucked up hyena.
Yeah. So Noro, maybe even having an encounter or two with a gnoll, would recognize what it is. For
one of his carcasses once.
It's probably like maybe it's like a low roll. So he's like he recognizes it, but he doesn't remember everything.
Yeah. You know of them, but maybe not too much specifics of their nature or whatever. I would say for Fenris, you've certainly run into these things before in your research. You've heard many tales of gnolls and their kind of points of origin. Their terrible viciousness. Yeah, and you can definitely tell that these ones are
mutter that audibly to the party.
Yeah, these ones you can definitely tell are very gaunt. Maybe out here looking for prey. Maybe certainly what they've had to feed on. Maybe isn't as plentiful recently. What would you guys like
Fenris,
to do?
holds like the hilt of his sword and just says, "Demons spawn."
One of them will kind of like turn up hearing this, being like, what? And I would like you guys to roll for initiative.
Oh, I said it.
R2.
It is
R2.
an immediate initiative. I can't talk my way into it.
You'll see. I suppose you'll see these 3 kind of like ready their spears, and they're like about to lunge at you if you'd like to say something in a second.
He does immediately, like, at the... Who said that? He does immediately, like, open his arms out like this pretty tall fucking figure in this terrifying, like, fucking huge black cloak and stuff. He does, like, splay his arms out. It's very evident he has a sword on his hip. And he just says, I said it.
Make a...
Or kind of, like, adds to it a little bit by kind of, like, you know, I imagine at that angle it's kind of hard to see his face, too. So, you know.
I would say make a performance or intimidation check, whichever you'd like.
I have 12 plus my intimidation. My intimidation plus 6. 18.
Lovely. You'll see these gnolls who are obviously very, very bloodthirsty and ready to attack, but you'll kind of see their ears flick back a little bit as they hesitate a moment before going to attack you, and you'll see them kind of chatter amongst themselves, like saying, like, if it's worth it, really to
now, gents.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to gnaw on us, there's a wrecked caravan and the remains of a yeti. He like pauses to consider whether or not they would understand directions, and then simply points in the direction of the wrecked caravan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dead people there for you to eat.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion check. Okay. That is a 7 plus. What is my fucking persuasion? Sorry. Plus 4, 11.
11. Okay, so you will... Gnolls are kind of fucking stupid. They're not very intelligent creatures. They
I
spend...
did just scare them, though.
Yeah, they spend most of their time just with kind of an endless hunger. They hear your words and are half convinced by the fact that you seem too intimidating of a thing for them to hunt and kill for food, and the hopes of even just a morsel of meat, even just one body, is enough for their hunger to kind of convince them and take your word for it. As the three kind of still very wary of you, sort of take a large arc around you, scamper off, giggling
You
with
mockingly
anticipation.
salutes them as they leave, by the way, like two-fingered salute.
Yeah, they give you
Good luck with
and the
hunt,
rest
lads.
and the rest of the party as they're walking by just terribly disgusting, gnarled like grins. You can see most of their teeth are like rotten out with saliva drooling as they're cackling. Excited for the prospect of meat as they scamper off down south.
They're probably going to kill a lot of people. Oh well.
Or get themselves killed. Shame.
You'll see in their little area. They had a what looks to have been a small campfire that has since been snuffed out. There isn't too much laid around. There's a couple very small bones, perhaps of like a bird or a small squirrel, but nothing else but like charred skin next to the fire, supposedly from that same animal.
In my time of need, the Gnoll King will answer my call.
Noro picks up one of the bones. He's like, I'm surprised they didn't eat these.
Is there any marrow left in them?
Upon checking, you see most of them are cracked open, and there's not much left inside.
Never mind.
It seems like you're not the only one who's starving, Noro.
Noro kind of chuckles a little bit and just kind of like sweeps a bit of the bones into his bag. He's a little bit of a hoarder, this Noro.
Rather small group for a Gnoll pack.
And he's like,
Probably
Noro
died
kind of
off.
like stands up.
I'm surprised they didn't eat each other.
True.
Must have been siblings or something. If gnolls even care about that sort of thing.
I'm not very familiar with gnolls. I haven't seen very many of them.
My experience with gnolls would denote that they are, well, vicious little monsters. There's no real redeeming qualities, to be honest with you. And they were spawned from a demon lord, so, you know, that's not a very good connotation.
Certainly not. We can only hope the cold will kill them then.
Sort of hope I run into them again, it'll be funny.
Nora kind of takes a quick pace around the camp to see if he can find anything. You know, seeing that the gnolls are kind of stupid. He's gonna
I'm
see if they,
officially
like, discarded anything.
Make
I've officially
a
started my bard run before I'm even multi-classed into a bard.
time's
Hell yeah,
come.
dude.
Nora, you can make an investigation check.
Gotcha. Let's see, that is 15, 16.
16. Okay, so they're around this. It's barely even a camp, more just a fire, kind of this little alcove on the side of this hill. But below the fire, you will see a you'll see kind of huddled up next to the fire, almost hidden by the ash around it. You'll see something sticking out of the ash, something white and sharp.
Or kind of like blows on the ash to see what's underneath it.
As you blow on it, it reveals that the thing that was sticking out was the sharpened end of a bone, and upon further inspection, it's the it's mottled flesh of a Knoll's broken off finger. Kind of
I
charred
suppose
from
they
the
did
ash.
eat each other.
It's not surprising.
Well, we know one of them is wait, hold on, let me rephrase that. We know two of them are going to eat the other one, and then eventually the other one is going to eat the other one, and then there's going to be a very strong no. That's how no's tend to work.
Bro's
Best
getting
keep an
hungry.
eyes out for any giggling in the distance, I imagine.
Yeah, at this point, you will kind of hear that all three of them have broken out into vicious laughter as they are like galloping almost away, just off in the distance.
As Fenris is watching them gallop off, he like sort of taps his chin under his hood and mutters to himself. I don't know if anyone would be able to hear. I wouldn't like be opposed to it, but he is muttering it rather just like to himself. I wonder if my king could use a no.
Lovely.
As he's like muttering to himself, he does just say this in either deep speech or Sylvan. I'd say deep speech.
Deep speech, the Nora hears it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, at this point, you're ever closer to Bryn Shander. So maybe only an hour or two treks away. You can see it getting closer and closer in the distance if you choose to continue on your journey.
Yes, I assume.
Lovely.
Yes.
All right. So, as you
Rolling another encounter dice, or
no. So as you continue on your journey, you kind of meet back up at the main road at this point. As you get closer, for the most part, you were just trekking over hills and hills, kind of in a beeline towards Bryn Shander. But as you get closer and closer, you'll begin to see the large wooden walls surrounding the city, the largest of any of the 10 towns. Here I'll send in game of info. I think that's a pretty low quality GIF, but whatever, gets the point across.
hold on. I know just the track to play.
Why did my Discord crashed for the audio recording? What the fuck?
God.
Hello?
Hello.
My Discord. I think when you,
Hello.
my Discord just crashed. I don't know what happened.
I changed it to the streets of Whiterun.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you approach Brinchander, that image I saw.
Oh, that is Whiterun.
that gif you saw. You'll see kind of the faint billowing of smoke out of the fireplaces of the houses that line the top of the hill as you trudge up the snowy path. You'll see the large, almost 15-20 feet tall wooden walls made out of thick logs surrounding the entire city with kind of bigger towers partial down like each of at different points along the outer walls. And as you find yourself getting closer to civilization, you are a little bit more relieved that you're out of the direct survival aspect, but you still find that most of you are out of coin and low out of food, and you will need to find some way to keep yourselves alive, if not get back to whatever task you were originally intending to do on your way back into the 10 towns. And at this point, this is where we will wrap up session 1. As you are approaching Brinchander. So yippee!
Very well.
Lovely.
Very well.
You did great.
You did fucking great, Carson.
Exciting.
This was awesome.
I
Hell yeah.
that pretty much that entire. I mean, once you guys set out into the wild, that was just a random encounter in the book. But that whole first thing was me just trying to make up a better reason than you guys start in a tavern and some guy approaches
house.
you. Yeah, I don't know, just trying to figure out something.
Outhouse.
I'm fucking mad because I kept forgetting there was like a couple things I intended to do with that I just genuinely forgot about halfway through. But
Oh, no.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. There was supposed to be a mechanic for you guys doing stuff in the house that would attract the Yeti like midway through, but then I kind of didn't do that halfway through. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Oh, interesting.
I very satisfied
I think it's
with
gonna be
leaving that Yeti in 2 pieces.
yeah, very nice. Yeah. That Yeti encounter was also something throughout. I had rolled 2 20s for that Yeti, but there was actually a secret third Yeti because I was every round on its turn, and also when Noro actively tried to intimidate with fire, I was doing like a fucking sanity check for it if it would get scared of the fire and run off during the battle, but it succeeded on a 20 on one of them, and then the other one was also high enough. So that was one fucking tough
my
Yeti, bro.
gosh.
That guy had nerves of steel.
Damn.
I got nerves as fucking steel,
Yeah.
bro.
Balls.
Yeah.
I rotted them into ash, so
I ate some part of them.
Yummy. Cool.
Yummy.
Lovely.
oh,
Yeah.
Very
I
cool.
love Naro already. Big fan of
Yeah.
Naro.
That was based. I'm excited to.
Uh,
Oh, sorry. And then also, big point as as you're reaching the steps, about to enter Brinchander, level up to level 2.
Oh, already?
wow.
Level
Oh,
2 time, baby.
One of
Yes! Yes! All right,
Oh
Carson,
Now I need to look
you know the
about
drill.
Yeah.
You know
what
the
I
drill.
fucking had for bod.
Yeah. For your
hold on.
thing, if you choose 1 or 2, we can like get into how that actually happens at the beginning of the next session.
Yeah, or we could like talk about it later.
Yeah,
Not now,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
My
yeah,
brain's
yeah,
a
of
little
course, yeah.
mudgy.
Yeah. Whatever.
I can add all my stuff. I can add all my stuff in like tomorrow and stuff, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah. No rush. Just
It's
before
go time.
next session, send me whatever your updated character sheet.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was correct in the fact that Fenris and Naro would immediately become bros.
Yeah, dude.
Nora, friggin' Fenris holds out a pipe to him. Nora's just like, yes.
Yes.
Ah, yes. MJ, I might like DM you something later
Oh,
for
okay.
well to talk about for like the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Assuming I remember.
You want me to
Which
remind you?
is a coin flip. You don't have to. I mean, it's not like an immediately important thing,
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
like at all.
Lovely,
Mm.
lovely.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I was hoping that Fenris was gonna have a quip about like Noro pulling back his mind arrow and like firing in the middle of the fight when earlier he said he didn't know how to shoot a bow.
Archie
what was
definitely thought something about it.
What was I doing when you did that? I think that was right after I teleported. I was behind it, wasn't I? Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
you moved after he shot him in the face.
Mhm.
I was trying to figure out. I was gonna have the Yeti attack Noro because of that high roll to hit or the crit roll to hit, and then also knocking in its teeth down its throat. I was gonna have it like kind of choke. But I think it
I'm
just
so glad
Damn.
I'm so glad I got to do my fucking flash step slash bullshit
get your fucking
dude.
first session.
funny
Anime
port.
fucking cleave that guy like across the back and then literally in half.
Oh my.
Yes.
Oh, Shinderu.
Especially like considering D&D combat like takes place in the span of like, seconds and stuff.
Mhm.
I think it's like 6 seconds per round.
Yeah, that combat was literally
So,
like 6 to
well,
12
that
seconds
means,
long.
like-
You guys cut that motherfucker
Yeah,
down quick.
no, like
That-
not even 2 full rounds.
That Yeti
So,
was
like-
like rushing at them and like immediately like both Noro and Gwen just fucking eye it, and Gwen just like stabs that thing in the stomach. Like,
Are you
Yeah.
forgetting the massive Eldritch blast
Oh,
that
yeah,
it
the
like
massive
and like
Eldritch
curse that
blast.
it sustained the moment it came within range?
That's tough.
Yeah, so just blasted with an Eldritch blast as soon as it rushes at them. Gwen cuts its belly open and like stabs through it. Noro shoots its teeth in, and then freaking Fenris
And
Archie
slashes
stands
it
there and
across
looks
the back.
greedy.
He's so
you
true.
you throw a flaming stick and then I raise my sword up and like cleave it vertically in half,
Tough.
like a
I love the
lightsaber rot
description.
through it. Pardon?
Of your Eldritch Blast. I love the description of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Very
thank
cool.
you.
Very
For
good.
like black wind.
Yeah.
I gotta
I
get
thought
like
I-
describing.
I was having trouble with it, but I do like the idea of it just being like not like a beam or like, a blast of energy. It's like this weird immaterial rush.
Oh yeah.
So sorry, you were saying something, John?
I gotta like think of like as I was like trying to think in the moment what his arrow would look like, but I believe at that like since it wasn't like as strong of a shot as it was, it's more transparent. Though, when he uses stronger abilities, I imagine it'll look different.
I'm surprised that is a reflavored firebolt and not an Eldritch Blast, I must say. It kind of seems like it would work better as an Eldritch Blast.
Why is it too powerful?
Especially with like at higher levels being able to split it into 2.
I will work on it because I have like a
And-
thing
We'll talk
for
about
it.
Yeah.
And the specific okay. I was gonna say, and the specific subclass that he is.
Why is this fucking thing being weird? You're a JPEG now, I guess. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, they do the same amount of damage.
Oh.
Well, actually, no. A Eldritch Blast goes up to D12, and you can split it into 2 beams, which you can direct at the same thing. But you can also direct it at multiple things.
Oh, good point.
So
I
it
think it's
is
the,
just a bit more useful,
Plus,
Thank you.
especially if you took like the Eldritch Invocation feat, and you took like the Agonizing Blast or like Repelling Blast and stuff.
Yeah. If that's what he ended up doing with the feet, we could make it apply.
Also, I've been like writing down like post-session notes, so I'll like put that in the in-game info.
Oh yeah, we have a there's like a notes channel, group notes. If you guys want to do that, I've in-game info mainly for like mid-session if I have to like send an image to describe something or like a piece of text, I'll throw it in there. But then generally like notes you can put into that notes channel.
It should, I think you should also just make a like player voiceless channel. So that, like we can
Well, we
we
have-
can
Oh,
spa-
yeah,
we
yeah.
can put things in that channel, and then you can use in-game info for like important DM shit
I
that
see
you're
what
trying to display to
I
us.
see what you mean.
There is like Discord's voice channel, text channels too.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like
I'll
that's
make a-
disgusting. That's filthy.
You
No,
know,
there's a,
understandable.
I'll just do that voice chat just because that's understandable lingo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
It was
There you
one
go.
set of crampons.
One set of tampons.
Also, that Eldritch Blast hitting something does like look like it's getting hit by wind, like it like wraps around them.
Oh yeah, baby.
Sick.
I'm just imagining like the sound. It's like
It didn't pick up, but yeah, it is like a massive rush of wind. It's like the way the Killing Curse is described. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I think about it, it's like it's described as a vast, massive something moving through the air.
Okay, I got to dip because work. I kind of forgot. I thought I had a half an hour more than I actually do, so I have to take a shower in 15 minutes and be out the door. So I will.
yeah.
No
I gotta
worries.
See you,
I'll
man.
do some homework. So I'll be heading
Godspeed,
out as well.
soldier.
Hopefully you enjoyed having my fun. Bye bye.